Chapter 865. He he he. That's more like it. By the way, don't tell brother how. No, I won't. Long Ting put it away and left directly. As the mistress, she shouldn't treat her subordinates like this, but Itoda used Guan Yu's real body, which she hated the most. Long Ting wanted to beat him up. Just ordering food was already very, very polite. This means that they won't take action until 49 days later. It was a little rushed at first, but now it's not a problem. In the void, in the aircraft, Chen Shui and the other women received the news from Long Ting. When they learned that Shiwa Xingnan used the Dao melting powder, they were shocked. It's not a problem to kill them, but it might be a little difficult to save our human couples, yes. They have all become Shiwa Xingnan's sole slaves. If Shiwa Xingnan dies, they will also collapse. Unless we control Shiwa Xingnan. Yes. We can't do it. Only how, and Hu Mainyang may be able to. Chen Shui frowned slightly. With Hu Mainyang's current strength, it shouldn't be a problem to use the Red Dust Heart Sutra to control Shiwa Xingnan. She should come, no need for her, sister-in-law, I should be able to do it. At that time, I'll do it. At this time, Chen Ling suddenly said with confidence, my Yin soul has been cultivated to the peak. When the battle starts, I'll find an opportunity to enter his soul palace and control him. It shouldn't be difficult. Is that so? Since Ling can do it, that's for the best. It also saves us from cooperating with that woman. It's a success, very good. Prepare for the battle with all your strength. 49 days later, it will be time for us to take action. In addition, you guys immediately set off and pass on my verbal order to gather all the top masters of the tyrants here secretly. Leader. Is it necessary? We already have an army of 100,000. Even if Itoda and the other masters are not affected, we have no problem killing them. It's better to be safe than sorry. Although Chen Hao, Hu Mainyang, and the others haven't appeared for nearly 600 years, what if they appear? Even if they don't show up, the human experts are still gathering. As you can see, it has only been a month, but they have already grown to more than 10,000 people. Moreover, those who dare to join at this time are definitely human experts who like to fight. After 49 days, there will definitely be more. Then why don't we just kill them now? Even if Itoda can escape, after 49 days, he will automatically become Dao. There's no point in doing that. Since we're going to do it, let's do it big. The more experts they have, the more benefits we'll reap. Don't forget that the human race had run amok for 600 years because of Chen Hao. During these 600 years, the human race had obtained the most treasures. Especially the human experts. Leader, of course I know that. However, if all of them are human experts and we take them all down, I'm afraid it will turn into a galactic war. That would be terrible. We are afraid, but they are even more afraid. Don't worry, it won't turn into a galactic war. The overall strength of the human race can't compare to ours at all. It's just a deterrent with the highest combat power. Alright. In the palace where the tyrants were temporarily stationed, Shiwa Xingnan and several top experts of the tyrants confidently decided on the battle in 49 days. In the following month, the experts of the tyrants, who had long been prepared, hid their auras and joined Shiwa Xingnan's army. Every 2 days, his soul slaves would report on the new cultivators of the Godslayer army. Everything was under Shiwa Xingnan's control. In any case, he didn't expect that his soul slaves would dare to defy him. Swish. 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 At the same time, Hu Mainyang, the leader of the human race, also quietly arrived with some of the top experts of the human race. Bailey Ningbing, who traveled alone, directly blended into the Godslayer army. When Bailey Ningbing's divine consciousness quietly scanned the Godslayer army, she frowned slightly at the 3 disguised auras. Although she didn't dare to forcefully probe and didn't obtain the aura of the origin, she concluded that they were from the women of proud heaven. In addition to the battle between the human race and the tyrants, some experts of the alien race who had long predicted that there would be a battle between the Godslayer army and the tyrants also quietly arrived. They waited from afar, ready to watch the upcoming battle. Today, nearly 600 years later, because of Itota's cruel and crazy hunting, there was once again an uproar that was second only to the Emperor Jade Marrow battle. The experts of the alien race who came to watch the show all had the same thought: would the Godslayer Qin Hao, the leader Hu Mainyang, and the core members of Proud Heaven, who had disappeared for nearly 600 years, appear? If they appeared, they would naturally just watch the show and do what they were supposed to do afterward. If they didn't appear, the suffocation of being suppressed by the human race for so many years would definitely erupt in the next few days. Everyone knew that if Proud Heaven didn't appear in such a huge conflict, it was likely that he wouldn't appear before the end of the primitive secret realm. What was there to fear? Hey, Brother Li Yuan, other than cultivating, all you do is cultivate. Can't you be a little more interesting? Or is there something wrong with your sexual orientation? Aren't you annoying? What do you want? Also, don't call me that so intimately. I have nothing to do with you. In the restrictive shield, Qin Hao glared at Mu Qing, who had woken him up again, and Li Wan, who was smiling and looking at him beside Mu Qing, and said angrily. Qin Hao realized that the hidden power of these two girls was extremely terrifying. It was impossible to get rid of them with absolute strength. It would also be inappropriate to fight with them. Qin Hao couldn't do anything to them, and he was very unhappy. Don't, I like you. It's love at first sight, and it's a one get one free. Little Qing, don't talk nonsense. I didn't fall in love at first sight. Feelings have to be cultivated. Hee, Sister Wan, don't pretend. If you don't like him, why don't you cultivate on your own? Why do you keep following me and him? I didn't invite you. Leng Ning Huan blushed when she heard Leng Ning Li's words. She wanted to say something, but she held herself back. Her younger sister was really something. Moreover, her skin was even thicker than Long Ting's. Naturally, she knew that her younger sister knew that Qin Hao did not recognize them, and she was playing with them. However, she could not do it. After all, he would eventually find out. At that time, Brother Hao would definitely trample on them. Qin Hao took a deep breath and suppressed the urge to punish Mu Qing and Li Wan, on the spot. In the past 60 years after he transformed into a mortal, Qin Hao had been faced with the bold confessions of many female cultivators. It would be impossible for him to not feel anything. He was not Lu Xiaohui. Even if he did not have feelings, he would still need to vent, right? However, he could easily get rid of them in the past. Now, Mu Qing and Li Wan, these two women with high cultivation bases, were shameless enough to leave him with no choice. Moreover, Qin Hao felt that their behavior was a little strange. He could not figure it out. He did not think that it was because of the girls. Because when he left, he felt that it would take at least 100 years for everyone to wake up from the great Tao's Sanskrit chant. What he didn't know was that because of his departure, his Tao mark energy was dissipating much faster than he had imagined. More importantly, when Hu Mainyang, Qin Shui, Long Ting, and Helian Wuzi were the first to wake up, they directly absorbed more energy, causing their Tao marks to dissipate in half the time, allowing everyone to wake up from their cultivation ahead of time. What kind of person do you think I am? Let me tell you clearly, I am not a disciple of some hidden sect. Moreover, you saw it too. Although I disguise my aura, my true strength is not as good as yours. If you get the wrong person, your true Mr. Right will be very sad. Qin Hao said after thinking for a while. How can that be? The person I like is you, love at first sight. Love has nothing to do with strength. Sister Shaoqing is right. Love is love. It is fated. What is the difference between a mortal and a true immortal? Hee. Sister Wan you finally spoke the truth. We hit it off at first sight. So we are destined to be good sisters. Tisk tsk tsk. Chen Hao was completely speechless by their words. Although he agreed with their point of view, they still needed to be willing. Was he such a casual person? If he was in his true form, he would accept them. But now that he was in his transcendent mortal state, it was a little unreasonable for him to accept two sisters. This was definitely not something he could do. There were things he could do and things he could not do. From the start, Chen Hao had always adhered to a philosophy in his bones. That was he could love everyone, he could be romantic, but he had to be responsible. Just like when he met Dan Fan of the Fan family before coming to the primitive mystic realm. Although they got together and obtained her body out of pity, not love, he would still be responsible. What a joke. You don't even know who your true form is, what love is there? Please, don't bother me anymore. Chen Hao said coldly. After saying that, he closed his eyes again. At the same time, Chen Hao's aura started to weaken at an alarming rate. Left with no choice, Chen Hao had to change his method. He had to use his secret art to get rid of the two of them. Sensing that Chen Hao's aura was weakening, Lingning Lu and Lingning Huan were shocked. They knew Chen Hao very well. Although Chen Hao had changed his method slightly, the two of them could guess that Chen Hao was going to use his carving technique to merge with the world. Brother Li Yuan, what are you doing? Chi. To Chen Hao's surprise, Mu Qing and Li Wan actually made a move at the same time and formed two powerful seals around him. Chapter 866. If the two of them worked together to form the seal, it meant that even if Chen Hao merged with the world, he would still have to pass through their seal. It was impossible for him to leave quietly. No. Do they know that I'm going to leave? Chen Hao frowned. Also, since I met Mu Qing, they have been using their absolute strength to keep me occupied. They have never used any divine skills. That's strange. Originally, Chen Hao did not care about this problem. However, now that the two women seemed to have foreseen the future and prevented him from merging with the world, Chen Hao had to think about it seriously. Being restrained in every way. That's impossible. Moreover, they have not used any divine skills. It's impossible that they don't know how to do it. That means they are doing it deliberately. Are they afraid that I will sense something? Could it be? Buzz. Thinking of this, Chen Hao's eyes suddenly emitted a dazzling seven-colored light as he looked straight at Mu Qing. Layers of illusions from the Red Dust Heart Sutra gushed out. Ah! Mu Qing opened her small mouth and forcefully severed the connection between Chen Hao and her mind, which was like an endless whirlpool that wanted to devour her mind. She directly turned her head and avoided Chen Hao's gaze. Chen Hao was surprised and suddenly turned to Li Wan. Li Wan was even more direct. When Chen Hao's eyes were shining, she closed her eyes. Fuck, at this moment, Chen Hao was 100% sure that the two women were very familiar with him. They knew what he was going to do when he stuck out his butt. Otherwise, how could they react so quickly? Big brother Li Yuan, if you stare at me like that, I'll feel shy. Lingning Lu calmed the panic in her heart. Even though she could still feel the boundless temptation of the Red Dust Heart Sutra, she still relied on her strong willpower to conceal her feelings. Chen Hao's eyes wandered unscrupulously over the two women. The seven-colored light in his eyes had been replaced by a faint golden light. He did not say a word. The two women were afraid that Chen Hao's Red Dust Heart Sutra would lead them to expose themselves, so they did not dare to look at Chen Hao. Such a strange situation made the two women a little nervous. Especially when they saw that Chen Hao didn't say a word, it made them even more worried. Could it be that he had guessed it? It seemed that Chen Hao's sudden use of the carving technique Heart Sutra and the secular Heart Sutra had caused him to overreact. But so what? If they didn't do this, they would either let Chen Hao run away, which was not what they wanted. If they fell into the Red Dust Heart Sutra, they would be exposed directly. They knew very well that Chen Hao knew all the divine ability laws and ultimate techniques that they had mastered. If there was even the slightest clue, he would definitely be exposed. So annoying. Why did you seal me? The moment the golden light in Chen Hao's eyes disappeared, an undetectable evil charm appeared in the depths of his dark eyes. Damn it, these two girls actually dared to tease this brother. At this time, Chen Hao had used an evil divine ability that he normally wouldn't use. What else could he not see? Regardless of whether he could see through their essence, the two women's bodies no longer had any secrets in front of him. Some of the details that Chen Hao had already grasped were naturally clear to him. No matter how good their disguises were, they wouldn't be able to cover every inch of their skin. Although Chen Hao was surprised that the two girls came so early, he didn't point it out. If you want to play, this brother will play with you. We're afraid that you'll run away. Can't you see that I'm restraining my aura? Why would I run away? Forget it, I admit defeat. Hurry up and release it. Hee. Then you can't run away. Lengning Lu and Lengning Huan looked at each other and secretly rejoiced. At the same time, they released the seal around Chen Hao. Lengning Lu even took the initiative to sit next to Chen Hao and intimately held his arm. Her full breasts were still pressed against Chen Hao's arm without restraint. The intention of teasing was obvious. I've already told you, don't seduce me. I have a Dao companion. And he's loyal to me. No matter how much you try to seduce me, it's useless. But I have to make it clear, this brother is not Lu Xiaohui. If I do something wrong, I will not take responsibility. You're playing with fire. Chen Hao said sternly. I like people like you. Brother Li Yuan, you're really loyal. Lengning Li's eyes were full of stars as she turned to look at Chen Hao and hugged him even tighter. Can you tell us who your Dao companion is? What's his name? Lengning Huan also came over and asked tentatively. Many. Even if I tell you, you won't know him. Hee. Brother Li Yuan, there are so many of them. Why are you still talking about loyalty? This is called universal love. What do you know? Then take us in as well. Lengning Lu said with a smile. My ability is limited. I can't share too much. Don't even think about it. I'm not a casual person. The moment Chen Hao said, not a casual person, he lowered his head and looked at Lengning Huan's collar. Her seductive white cleavage could be seen clearly. What was even more exaggerated was that this guy's eyes almost popped out of his head. This caused Lengning Lu, who had been attacking for a long time to no avail, to let out a scream and push Chen Hao away. And you say you're not a casual person, I've already said, I'm not Lu Xiaohui. Who's Lu Xiaohui? Lengning Huan asked. This was the second time Chen Hao said this name. You don't even know this? This is an abnormal man. With a beauty in his arms, he can keep his cool. Which normal man can take it? Mooching, I have to say, your boobs are quite big, quite white, and quite tempting. If you try to seduce me again, I won't be able to hold myself back and I won't take responsibility for it. Chen Hao said shamelessly. His true nature is showing. The two beautiful sisters looked at each other with flushed faces and thought to themselves in their hearts. Lei, I'm afraid. Brother Hao knows. Our reaction just now was a little too strong, then what should we do? Brother Hao definitely didn't sense our origin energy. He's just suspecting. Why don't you continue? Anyway, you're the one who came up with the idea. Take your time, I'll watch. Sister, how can you do this? Let's do it together. I've always been like this. If you take the initiative, I'll stay like this. Stop talking to each other secretly. Are you scared? If you're scared, then hurry up and leave. Don't keep bothering me. If nothing goes wrong, a war will break out soon. Even if you don't cultivate, I still have to. Chen Hao said. I'm not scared. Tell us who you are. It's fine if you don't want to take responsibility, but at least let us hear with our own ears who we're doing this for. Will that do? Lengning Lu said viciously. We're guessing that you're the god of slaughter, Chen Hao. Am I right? Chen Hao did not expect Leng Ninglu to say something like that. Chapter 867. However, he immediately understood what she was trying to say. Obviously, the two of them knew that he had already suspected their identities, but they felt that he couldn't confirm their identities. After all, he didn't sense any origin energy from them. With Leng Ningli's words, if Chen Hao really wasn't sure who they were, he would definitely become uncertain again because of Leng Ninglu. Unfortunately, Chen Hao was 100% sure of it. This girl is actually so smart. If not for my fiery eyes of truth, I wouldn't have dared to make a move. Chen Hao thought to himself, but his expression was one of shock. Killing God Chen Hao. Then you're really mistaken. Sorry, you should leave quickly. I can tell you clearly that I'm not. Chen Hao's expression and words made Leng Ninggle and Leng Ninghuan happy. As expected, he couldn't confirm their identities. It'd be weird if you're not. We've secretly watched your battles in the Astounding Thunder Army. Your battle style, mystique, secret arts, etc. Although you've intentionally suppressed them, they're still shockingly similar to killing God Chen Hao. Furthermore, the way you retracted your aura, isn't that killing God Chen Hao's most famous concealment technique? You've only slowed down your pace. Also, your gaze just now, I dare to say that it's similar to Hu Mainyang's Secular Heart Sutra. You've been entangled with her for so many years, and your relationship is unclear. It's not strange that you've learned something from her. In summary, you're killing God Chen Hao. You can't fool us. Chen Hao Gij. You're my idol. Just admit it. I'm willing to give up everything for you. Even if you don't take responsibility. I'm willing to. Leng Ningle's exquisite performance and words made Chen Hao sweat profusely. Leng Ninghuan went to Chen Hao's other side and hugged his arm. This made Chen Hao admire their quick-wittedness and courage in teasing him. So if I admit it, you'll let me do whatever I want to you? And I won't have to take responsibility. If you admit it, you'll have to revert to your true form. At least, we'll have to see your true form. What about you guys? We. Of course, will be in disguise. That way, you won't have any psychological burden. How can you be so nice? Indeed, if I don't even know what you look like, even if I want to take responsibility in the future, I won't be able to find you. Could love be so selfless? I'm so touched. He took the bait. The beautiful sisters thought to themselves. Although they knew that this was challenging Chen Hao's limits, and the mental fortitude that Chen Hao displayed at this moment was far from being as good as before, the strange thing was that the two of them completed the task that Chen Hao had given them, but they didn't feel the slightest bit of disgust towards Chen Hao. She had already stuck to him like this, and Chen Hao had also clearly said that he wouldn't take responsibility. So what if he did it? Whoosh! At this moment, Chen Hao really shed his disguise. His ordinary appearance suddenly underwent a shocking change. On his handsome face, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly, filled with the familiar evil charm of the two women. At this moment, the fiery sisters' hearts skipped a beat. Their faces were instantly filled with shyness, and their heartbeats quickened. According to Chen Hao's words, it was time for them to give themselves to him. Stick out your butt. Chen Hao's expression suddenly became serious. Ah! Big brother Chen Hao. Can you not be so cold? Don't be so direct. Don't be so unromantic. At this moment, Chen Hao didn't use any energy. Instead, he suddenly reached out and pressed Leng Ninggle, who was still pretending. His big hand directly slapped her plump butt. At the same time, Chen Hao's mouth said something that made Leng Ninggle unable to resist. Huan Huan, Lei, you two little girls have grown up. Pa pa. You dare to tease your big brother? Pa pa. Say. Pa pa. Did little Shui teach you to do this? Ah. Big brother Hao. Pa pa, Huan Huan, you deserve to be hit too. Pa pa. Ah. Big brother Hao, we were wrong. Don't hit us anymore. The two girls' faces were completely red, but they obediently stuck out their butts and allowed Qin Hao to slap them. This kind of slap only caused their hearts to tremble, their bodies to go numb, and their hearts to tremble. How could it hurt? Did you think that you could hide it from your big brother? Why aren't you reverting to your true form? Watch how your big brother ravages you. Don't, big brother Hao, we know our mistakes. We just wanted to play with you. Big brother Hao, no, God grandfather, how did you know it was us? Big brother has discerning eyes. Even when you stick out your butts, I know that you want to. Cough cough, I know who you are. When did you wake up? Why are you so early? Qin Hao asked when he saw that the two girls had reverted to their true forms, but they were still lying in front of him. His slap had become in Lushan's claw. When he didn't know who the two girls were, his lust had been aroused. Now that he knew who they were and that they had reverted to their true forms, how could the hot-blooded Qin Hao control himself? His brother naturally raised his strong head. This was especially so when the two girls were in such a position. No man would be able to control himself. Big brother Hao, tell us first. How did you know it was us? Leng Ninggle was still unwilling to give up. Is there even a need to say it? This big brother has been immortal for 60 years. Even though I've concealed my elegant and dashing appearance, I can't hide my inner charm. There are at least 80, if not 100, beauties who have thrown themselves at me. But none of them are as bold and direct as the two of you. It doesn't make sense. And just now, this big brother used his supreme technique twice, and the two of you reacted accordingly. Who else could it be other than the two of you? That's not right. Big sister Shui, big sister Ting, isn't it fine? Little sister Ting has no problem. She's thick-skinned, but how could little Shui dare to be with her? Only the two of you. Okay, answer my question. We just woke up not long ago. The Taoist mark you left behind was absorbed by Hu Mainyang, big sister Shui, big sister Ting, and big sister Xiao Wu. After that, it lost its energy and disappeared a few days ago. We saw your message and came to find you. Leng Ninggle said with a red face. Big brother Hao. We missed you so much. Leng Ninggle turned around and threw herself into Qin Hao's arms. She hugged him tightly. Leng Ninggle moved closer to him shyly. She gently squeezed out some space and hit her head on Qin Hao's sturdy chest. Qin Hao wrapped his arms around the two girls' slender waists and said, so, they've come out as well. Yes. Then they should know about Itota's matter. Also, they should have taken action, we're not sure about that. But, when we came over, Itota recognized us. His strength has increased at an alarming rate. That guy's evil nature is indestructible. After this incident, we must teach him a lesson. Alright, take out the aircraft. Let's get down to business. What business? Leng Ninggle asked even though she already knew the answer. Her small hands nervously pinched Qin Hao's waist. What do you think? Chapter 868. Chi. The miniature aircraft silently appeared in front of the three of them. Qin Hao held one in each hand and stepped directly into it. DDD, welcome master, welcome the two matriarchs. The artificial intelligence's mechanical voice sounded. The artificial intelligence of all the miniature aircraft was derived from Little Wisdom Number 1, and the highest authority was Qin Hao. Give me the information of all the core members of Proud Heaven. Qin Hao held the two women and did not immediately start. Instead, he gave the artificial intelligence an order. Yes. A moment later, when Qin Hao and the sisters understood the current situation, they shook their heads and quietly flew away. There was no need for him to worry about this place. Chi. In the void, the aircraft shuttled aimlessly. Inside the aircraft, in an independent space, Qin Hao and the sisters were entwined together. Their hands were up and down, but they were gently cruising on the graceful and exquisite bodies of the two women. The robe gradually became wider, and the graceful appearance began to appear. The appearance, figure, and even every inch of skin of the sisters were exactly the same. Under Chen Hao's gentle and teasing touch, their small faces had already become shrouded in rosy light. Even their skin was faintly flushed, and they were getting hotter and hotter. Uncontrollable panting came from the roar of the two women, and they moaned again and again. Brother Hao, without the disguise, the hearts of the sisters had long been completely integrated. Every breath, every frown, every smile, even the panting and murmuring became completely the same. The blessing of two people. For the Chen Hao in this life, this was the first time. The two women closed their eyes because of shyness, their eyelashes trembled, and their delicate bodies trembled. This made the sisters, who were born with a natural charm, even more delicate and alluring. When the robe was taken off and the chest wrap disappeared, the two sisters' jade bodies were laid out under Chen Hao's bloodshot eyes. 4 perky breasts, slender waists, slender and smooth jade legs, the mysterious dark forest. What kind of temptation was that? Without much movement, the 2 rivers of spring water had already soaked the two women's snow-white small panties. At this moment, they were like ripe apples, waiting for their beloved man to pick them. Their whole body was itchy and unbearable. Brother Hao, Chen Hao suppressed his desire and gently caressed every inch of their skin as if he was admiring the world's most precious piece of art. The beautiful sisters finally couldn't control themselves and pressed their naked bodies against Chen Hao's body. 4 small hands deftly and quickly took off Chen Hao's Taoist robe, turning it into an open meeting. The moment their skin touched, regardless of whether it was the sisters or Chen Hao, under the stimulation of lust, they all let out notes of love. Chen Hao spread his arms and pressed the 2 girls down on the large, soft, snow-white bed again. His lips landed on her smooth and translucent skin, kissing it little by little. The spring water surged until the pure water overflowed. The soft and delicate bodies of the 2 women became hotter and hotter, redder and redder. They couldn't help but moan louder and louder. Their legs became tighter and tighter, and they couldn't stop themselves from twisting. How? Brother Hao. We are ready. Let's start. For a full half an hour, Chen Hao used his hands and mouth to tease the 2 women, but he still didn't make a move. In such a situation, the 2 women finally couldn't bear it anymore and took the initiative to ask. It was their first time doing it, thus they had tried their best to remain reserved. However, under Chen Hao's teasing, they had no choice but to toss their last bit of reservation aside. No rush. What made the 2 women collapse was that Chen Hao actually said such a sentence. In fact, Chen Hao also endured extremely hard. He really wanted to immediately charge forward, but this shameless guy seemed to deliberately make the sisters uncomfortable. Oh! After hearing Chen Hao's words, the sisters finally flipped out and made a move at the same time. Leng Ninghuan flipped over and pressed Chen Hao under her body. Her bright red lips kissed Chen Hao's lips wildly. Her full breasts pressed against Chen Hao's chest, squeezing and twisting with all her might. On the other hand, Leng Ning Li's 2 soft hands directly attacked Chen Hao's little brother. The majestic and hot erection in her hands made Leng Ning Li's whole body tremble, and her private parts trembled. At this moment, she instinctively opened her cherry mouth and embraced him. Oh, Chen Hao, this shameless guy, originally wanted to ravage and torture the 2 women who dared to seduce him, and let them have a taste of the burning desire. But the sisters' fierce counterattack, especially Leng Ning Li's little mouth, made Chen Hao let out a low moan. This kind of psychological impact was really too satisfying. Although Leng Ning Li did not have the slightest bit of skill. 4 small hands and 2 small mouths, giving Chen Hao a taste of his own medicine, teasing the limits of Chen Hao's strong and slender body. 1,000 years of love, 1,000 years of accumulation, 1,000 years of suppression, in Chen Hao and the 2 women's dantian, a raging fire began to burn. Sister! Go! Leng Ning Li's trembling and domineering voice rang out. Leng Ninghuan could no longer hold back. Leng Ning Huan lifted her hips slightly, and Leng Ning Li's hands cooperated with her. Her alluring and plump but accurately pressed down. Relying purely on instinct, Leng Ning Huan, who did not use any energy, frowned slightly, but immediately sped up. This kind of thing did not require experience, and did not require learning. It was purely based on one's primitive desires, and one only needed to follow one's feelings. From inexperience to proficiency, then to Chen Hao's reversal, from passive to active. Before reaching the peak, the three's hearts were connected automatically. However, none of them wanted to and did not want to start the dual cultivation. This was their first time, and they only wanted to truly fuse with each other, and not use it for cultivation. In fact, the three of them did not even think of cultivating. Amidst the enchanting and gentle sounds, there was no end to the spring scenery. Leng Ning Lu, who Gan Tong was deeply attracted to, was not any weaker than her sister. This was a true pair of beautiful sisters. For ordinary people, even if they looked the same, it was impossible to have such a pair of beautiful sisters whose hearts were so connected. 2 hours later, Leng Ning Huan, who was in battle, and Leng Ning Lu, who was outside the battle, finally spasmed at the same time and fell softly under Chen Hao's body. At this moment, Chen Hao pressed Leng Ning Lu, who had experienced the feeling but was still unable to complete it, under his body. The spring water overflowing Taoyuan was only slightly obstructed by the Virgin, and then it was completely contained. However, Chen Hao, who loved the two women very much, did not rush at the beginning. Instead, he took advantage of the time when the two women were weak, and gently throbbed. It was only when Leng Ning Lu took the initiative to respond that the battle began again. Chapter 869. After several hours of passion, Leng Ning Huan and Leng Ning Huan curled up in Chen Hao's arms like two little kittens and fell into a deep sleep. Chen Hao caressed their delicate bodies, and he felt an unprecedented sense of satisfaction. His state of mind was peaceful. The fusion of yin and yang. Even if I don't cultivate, there will still be the same effect. It's just that I have to absorb it slowly. No wonder men want to obtain a woman's primordial yin body. It's indeed more effective than any spiritual medicine. Chen Hao felt the two primordial yin bodies flowing through his meridians, blood, and even every cell of his body. It was filled with the essence and aura of the sisters. This feeling was something that Tan Tai Lian and Fan Shaoqing had never given him before. Even though they were both primordial yin bodies when they fused with Chen Hao, they didn't feel it because of Chen Hao's state at that time. Furthermore, the sisters were now experts at the peak of heavenly immortal advanced stage. Naturally, they couldn't be mentioned in the same breath. Carefully comprehending it, Chen Hao didn't immediately refine it. Instead, he hugged his beautiful body and entered dreamland with a peaceful mind. Yin and yang of the heavens and earth intersected to give birth to all living things. Yang of the male and female of the male and female of the male and female of the female. Only then could the yin and yang be balanced. A dragon toying with two phoenixes. The sisters finally achieved their goal. Their hearts were filled with warmth. They slowly woke up as if they were in a dream. When they saw little Chen Hao standing with his head held high, they took the initiative to seek the Tao once again. In a hazy state, Chen Hao once again fell into a warm embrace. This time, he didn't hesitate and directly connected with the heavens and earth. He intersected with the two ladies and entered into a beautiful dual cultivation state. Chen Hao, who had sealed the cultivation of the transcendent mortal realm for the sisters, was like a fish in water. He was so happy that he forgot about his home. The beautiful sisters, whose innate potential had already reached the limit, were cultivating together with Chen Hao. They were comprehending Chen Hao's various unimaginable attempts and breakthroughs. This kind of situation was far better than Chen Hao directly imbuing them with the comprehension of nature. This was the difference between giving a man a fish and teaching a man to fish, kill. How dare you destroy the tyrant army? Today, the tyrants will show you the true power of the tyrants. Kill. Don't let any of them go. Leader, can we capture the beautiful woman alive? Ha ha ha. If you have the ability, of course you can. Kill, kill, kill. More than a month after Chen Hao and the beautiful sisters entered the boundless land of tenderness, the leader of the tyrants, Shuaxingnan, descended from the sky with a huge army of tyrants experts. Their murderous intent filled the air. The arrogant and despotic tyrants, who had always been the #1 race in the world, threw away all their scruples at this moment. They wanted to vent to their heart's content all the repressed feelings brought about by the human race. They were like a volcanic eruption, insufferably arrogant. How is this possible? Why are there so many people in the tyrant's army? So many experts? It's over. Where is Brother Yi? Where's Gates? Where are our experts? The majestic and terrifying pressure caused the Deicide Legion, which had expanded to nearly 20,000 people, to panic uncontrollably. There were too many enemy cultivators, several times their number. What was even more frightening was that the experts among them were even more powerful. This was definitely the largest and most powerful army that the Deicide Legion had ever seen so far. At this moment, everyone felt the threat of death. The female cultivators' faces were even paler. No one had expected the tyrants to be so arrogant and violent. Be obedient and accept your death. I'll let you die a quick death. Let me tell you clearly, Itota is finished. Ha ha ha. Shuaxingnan of the tyrants laughed wildly as he descended from the sky. His arrogant and proud look simply made him feel good to the bone. What? How is this possible? Hearing Shuaxingnan's words, the Deicide Legion cultivators were even more frightened. They had lost their leader. Judging from the other party's tone, Itota, the top expert of the human race who had risen after Chen Hao, Hu Mainyang, and the core members of Ao Tian, had been killed. Ha 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 ha, just as the god-slaying cultivators completely lost their confidence, a mocking laugh that was not too loud suddenly rang out from the god-slaying army. Buzz! At the same time, this figure shone with a bright light. The disguised aura instantly disappeared, revealing his true appearance. Itota. What? You haven't transformed into the way. Are you surprised? Before Itota could speak, a sinister and creepy voice rang out from the void. A man stepped on the air with his hands behind his back and arrived above the Deicide Legion in an instant. Ah, almost instantly, screams rang out one after another. Du Jing. Merciless tyrant, boom. Suddenly, the void not far away seemed to be torn apart. Before the man arrived, an extremely terrifying aura of an ancient ferocious beast rolled out and swept across the world in an instant. Damn it, Lord Pan really wants to see how strong the tyrants are. It was the human-shaped ferocious beast, Coiling Dragon. There's no need to kill a chicken with a butcher's knife. Brother Pan, Brother Du, Lan Feng, will do. Ha ha ha. Boom. How can that be? Do you want me to come here for nothing? Long Yi broke through the air. Although Long Yi had met Ao Tian later and was far less famous than Lan Feng, the powerful aura that Long Yi exuded at this moment was not much weaker than Lan Feng's. You, Buzz. Puff. Just as Shuaxingnan was dumbstruck, his lips trembling as he uttered the two words, without any warning, an incomparably sharp sword directly pierced through his heart. He didn't even have the time to gather his true essence and protection. To his horror, he discovered that the energy around his body was being controlled by an absolute energy that was stronger than him by a level. What was even more shocking was that a beautiful face appeared before his eyes. With just a glance, his gaze was sucked into an endless whirlpool. Chen Shui. Hu Mainyang. What Shuaxingnan did not see was the beautiful figure in a blue dress who had pierced his heart with a sword. Even Hu Mainyang could not gain the upper hand. Run! This sudden change, although only a few people had appeared, made the army of more than 100,000 cultivators of the tyrants lose any confidence to fight. Seeing that the leader of the tyrants, Shuaxingnan, was easily controlled by Chen Shui and Hu Mainyang, who would dare to fight? Boom boom boom. Chi chi chi. But at this moment, densely packed experts of the human clan appeared out of thin air. A huge army formed by the peripheral members of Aotion. Divine soldiers and divine generals. Kill. Du Jing waved his hand and ordered. Long Ting, who was hiding in the army, Bailey Ningbing, who had arrived early, Helian Wuzi, Tan Tai Lian, Chen Ling, Li Yang, Pan Donglu, and Pan Dongxing appeared at the same time. In an instant, the mountains collapsed and the void collapsed. Chapter 870. This battle took 3 days and completely annihilated the tyrant's army of 100,000 masters. The humans also paid a price. The top masters decided the outcome, but it was impossible to win against the hundreds of thousands of top masters from the tyrants. However, under Aotion's command, the casualties were only 1/10 of the tyrants. As soon as the battle ended, the precise battlefield statistics were done by the aircraft's AI. Rewards and punishments were clear and reasonable. It was extremely efficient, and the rewards were accurate to every single cultivator. It also allowed everyone to witness Proud Heaven's terrifying strength. The foreign race masters who were watching from afar were so scared that they wet their pants. At the beginning of the battle, they used all their strength to escape so that they would not be implicated. On this day, the news that the leader of the humans, Hu Mainyang, and Aotion's core members had returned after disappearing for almost 600 years, spread throughout the 10 major galaxies of the primitive mystic realm. Since then, the outsiders, who were eager to make trouble, became even more obedient than before. No one dared to challenge the absolute authority of the humans. The Protoss and the insect race had been leaderless for hundreds of years. Lu Qianye and Morichis had disappeared, and no one dared to elect a new leader. It was only when they stepped out of the primitive mystic realm that they knew Lu Qianye and Morichis had died. Chen Hao. Chen Hao, a disciple from a barren planet, can grow to such a terrifying level. It's beyond imagination. There hasn't been much change in more than 3 years, but he's still far ahead. It's incredible. Vast universe galaxy, second world, and such discussions filled the Alliance Square of the major cities almost every day. Many people had heard so much that calluses grew on their ears. It's almost over. It's been 6 years, the waves will wash away the sand. When this batch of cultivators comes out, they will definitely compete with the young geniuses who were originally in the Heaven Immortal realm. I'm afraid they won't be weak. This is the fate of the heavens. Which of the young people in the Heaven Immortal realm is not a monster? They're much stronger than the cultivators who entered the primitive mystic realm. However, their mistake was that they advanced to the heavenly celestial stage too early and missed the opportunity to enter the primitive mystic realm. Now, I'm afraid many of them will be surpassed by cultivators whose natural talent is far inferior to theirs. The main reason is that the primitive mystic realm this time is too perverse. Now, the ruler of our vast universe galaxy, Chen Wuliang, and his 2 Dao companions have successfully severed their Dao, and the peak masters of the other galaxies have also severed their Dao. I have a premonition that an unprecedented era is about to appear, ha. An expert sighed. His words caused many of the surrounding experts to reveal solemn expressions. Since the beginning of time, what did this mean? Since time immemorial, all things in the world had been evolving under the laws of the great Tao. Flourishing and withering, evolving into immortality. The birth of a universe, its development, its prosperity, its decline, and even its destruction, was not something that could be changed by human will. The primitive secret realm was the best proof. The arrival of a great era meant that the universe was heading towards its peak. Although there was the suspicion of groundless fears, it would more or less make these old cultivators who had reached their limits feel a trace of the sorrow of a hero past his prime. Chi! Boom! In the chaotic space outside the Yang planet in the vast universe galaxy, a figure sitting cross-legged in an endless storm of chaos suddenly pointed his finger. The terrifying chaotic energy seemed to have been sucked into a vacuum in an instant. A fragment of a planet with a diameter of millions of miles was annihilated in an instant. Phew! Even the middle stage Daluo Jinxian is no match for me. Moreover, I can step into the ranks of Daluo Jinxian at any time. Ha! Chen Hao of the Wuji planet. I'm looking forward to it. Chi. After restraining his almost uncontrollable essence, energy, and spirit, the figure directly tore through the space barrier and entered the Ying planet. Young Master Shao. Young Master Shao. Back in the Valley of Happiness, the top sect on the Ying planet, a silhouette appeared in the void and slowly descended. Many silhouettes emanating terrifying auras rose from the Valley of Happiness. Any one of those silhouettes would have caused a sensation in the world of cultivators. Each of them had the demeanor of a transcendent being with fluttering white beards. However, each of them had white hair and a youthful complexion. At first glance, one could tell that they were the leading figures of their respective regions. Supreme Hongmeng. The Happy Valley was only a top sect on the Ying planet. How could it have so many Supreme Hongmeng cultivators? What was even more surprising was that these Supreme Hongmeng cultivators actually bowed to the young man who had just landed in the void of the Happy Valley. The respect in their eyes was not at all pretentious. It seemed to come from the bottom of their hearts. This young man was spirited and handsome. His eyes were like the stars, the sun, and the moon. The aura around him was restrained to the extreme. The young man only nodded slightly. Under the escort of these Supreme Hongmeng cultivators, he stepped into the core palace of the Happy Valley. At this moment, the Valley Master of the Happy Valley didn't even have the right to sit. He wore a humble, flattering, and respectful smile on his face, like a clown welcoming guests. The dignified venerables of a sect had been reduced to such a state, but they didn't dare to show any dishonesty. All of this was thanks to one person, Chen Hao. If he had known this would happen, he would never have made a 10-year duel with Chen Hao just because his disciple, Mo Xiaoji, was a genius from the demonic ant planet and also the top genius of the Happy Valley. Who would have thought that a disciple from a barren planet, even if he was a prodigy, would be able to grow to such a level without the support of a powerful faction or background? No one would have thought. At least, none of the Supreme Hongmeng cultivators present could have imagined. When he saw Chen Hao's terrifying battle record and contribution points on the second pagoda tablet, he knew that he was doomed. With his Happy Valley, demonic ant planet, and a few other small planets, it was simply impossible for him to kill such a stunning genius who was one of the best in the entire vast universe galaxy. The 10-year duel would only be child's play. Not only that, he also had to prepare well for Chen Hao's revenge when he truly matured. It had to be said that this was a very worrying matter. But what he didn't expect was that half a year ago, several top sects and families in the vast universe galaxy had taken the initiative to seek him out. Thus, there were now many Supreme Hongmeng cultivators and this young heavenly immortal expert. This was definitely a good thing for him and the people of the demonic ant planet. Even though he knew that he had just become someone else's knife. Because they wanted to use the 10-year duel between the Happy Valley and Chen Hao to avenge their dead prodigies openly. The 4 mad dragons, Bai Yan, Chen Lin, and so on. And the heavenly immortal youth they had invited was even more amazing in terms of strength, talent, and background. It was said that he didn't even care at first, but later on, this youth took the initiative to agree. Chapter 871. Congratulations, young Master Shao, for reaching the Great Circle. Even old man would find it difficult to achieve young Master Zhao's attack. No wonder you're the top genius of our vast universe galaxy. If young Master Shao can trigger the heavenly punishment, you'll be invincible. No wonder the patriarchs all asked for young Master Zhao's help. It'll be foolproof. You flatter me. The young man who sat in the main seat did not show any emotion in the face of everyone's compliments. He said coldly, "Are there any changes to the rankings? Also, did you find the details I wanted?" Young Master Shao, don't worry. Chen Hao's battle achievements and contributions have only changed a little on the rankings. We've already investigated all the details. In the most recent battle, all the members of Proud Heaven were mobilized. Hu Mainyang also participated and cooperated with Proud Heaven. However, Chen Hao did not appear. After that battle, there were very few large-scale conflicts. There's also no news about Chen Hao. Is that so? Did you bring the things I wanted? Of course. This is what we, the great families and sects, should do. Please check it, young Master Shao. Qi. A stream of light flashed, and a profound and majestic aura filled the entire palace. Accompanied by a delicate fragrance and 7-colored light, 6 sacred-level Dharma treasures, 6 extremely precious sacred-level pills, and 6 jade slips engraved with complicated runes appeared in front of everyone. Qi. The young man's calm and indifferent eyes finally showed a hint of excitement. He waved his hand and stored them in his mind. I'll rush over when the primitive secret realm ends. You don't have to contact me during this time. After the young man finished speaking, his figure flashed and disappeared from the palace. In an instant, the void outside the palace rippled. It was obvious that he had torn the void and left. Humph, what arrogance. He's just a puny heavenly immortal. Don't talk nonsense. How am I talking nonsense? We're all Hongmeng Supremes. Look at him, does he even care about us? So what? Xiao Yan was the #1 genius of the Shao clan. How many people in the world could enter the eyes of the Shao clan? On the other hand, Xiao Yan was already at the peak of the advanced stage of the heaven celestial stage before he was even 1,000 years old. Now, it was obvious that he had reached the perfection stage and could step into the Daluo Jingxian any time. It would be strange if such a monstrous genius didn't have any pride. Yes, but I find it strange. When we invited him, he rejected us without even thinking about it. Why did he suddenly agree now? The conditions that he proposed didn't even reach our bottom line. He. Even if we don't agree to his conditions, he will still fight with Chen Hao. What's going on? Firstly, Chen Hao's terrifying battle achievements and contributions are unprecedented. He has truly become famous throughout the world. The world I'm talking about is our entire universe. A mountain can't hold 2 tigers. Such a genius made him want to make a move. Killing Chen Hao would undoubtedly earn him supreme providence. Secondly, I think it's the Misty Rain Pavilion's current saintess, Hu Mainyang. Since he asked us to investigate Chen Hao and Hu Mainyang, it should be related to Hu Mainyang. Although Chen Hao killed our genius this time, it's more or less related to Hu Mainyang. That's right. Unfortunately, Hu Mainyang has the Misty Rain Pavilion's support. Moreover, she has made great contributions in the primitive mystic realm. Moreover, she's the leader of the human race. We have to find an opportunity to deal with her. There will be opportunities. As long as Hu Mainyang and Chen Hao are related, we might not even have to do anything. What do you mean? The Misty Rain Pavilion saintess, especially a Khanate Dao embryo who has cultivated the Red Dust Heart Sutra, doesn't fall in love easily. If she does, she'll be loyal to her husband. Don't forget how crazy the previous saintess was. With Xiao Yan's strength, there's no doubt that he can kill Chen Hao. So, what will Hu Mainyang do? Alright, it's time for us to get down to business. Let's split up. Brother Wan, is this really necessary? Every injustice has its perpetrator, every debt has its debtor. This is an order. We just have to carry it out. This time, with Chen Hao as an opportunity, the game is between the upper echelons. We just have to do as they say. We have to control the names given by the upper echelons. I keep feeling that something is wrong. Based on what we know about Chen Hao, he won't run away. Then you should suppress this feeling. Who can be sure that he won't run away? Xiao Yan is the strongest heavenly immortal in the temple, and he's now a perfected heavenly immortal. Coupled with his background in the temple, who can or dares to compete with him? Don't tell me you don't know about Chen Hao's possible background. This is a game between the upper echelons. Carry out the order. Alright, brother, on the Ying planet, a young girl who looked like Chen Shui but gave off a completely different vibe was sitting on the edge of a cliff with her arms around her knees. She looked at the endless night sky and murmured, "That's right, brother Chen Shui. Behind the young girl, a bonfire burned. More than 10 figures that Chin Hao was familiar with were chatting, drinking, and eating. Brother Nan, go call little Yen. Boss will be coming out of the primitive mystic realm soon. She should be happy. Chin Nan shook his head helplessly and said, let her be. You know that little Yen is like this. We're both brothers, but she doesn't listen to me. Come, let's drink. How could he not know about his sister's feelings? His brother had been their idol since they were young, and he had always been their goal. However, no matter how hard they tried, they seemed to be getting further and further away from their brother. Chen Nan could face this feeling of helplessness calmly, but Chen Yen could not. For years ago, Chen Nan, Chen Yen, Hu Yen Aobua, Meng Xiao, the first king, Jing Tiangang, Bei Li Liancheng, Zhang Rongrong, Gao Dazhuang, Bai Xiaomei, Jiang Hai, and Huang Wenxiu had all reached the human celestial stage. They left the Wuji planet and came to the wider world of the Ying planet. Although they had shown good talent in the test of the second world, especially Chen Nan and Chen Yen, who had received many invitations, they did not join any faction. The reason was simple. They were waiting for Chen Hao's return. Fortunately, the Wuji planet had deliberately given them resources, and they were treated well. In order to catch up with Chen Hao, they had cultivated like crazy and made amazing progress in the past 4 years. Okay. Let's drink. Let's get drunk tonight. Tomorrow, we'll go back to the station and wait for our boss's return. Ha, ha. Our boss is now a master of the heaven celestial stage, and his battle contribution is number 1. It is said that he is invincible among the top 10 clans in the original Star Zone. I'm so excited when I think about it. We've been trying our best, but we've still embarrassed our boss. I want to see him, but I'm also afraid to see him. What are you afraid of? Is our boss that kind of person? To be honest, it's not that we're too weak, but that our boss is too strong. Ha, ha, ha. I think that when our boss comes back, all of us will grow at a super high speed. When a man achieves the Tao, even his chickens and dogs will ascend to heaven. Besides, we are our boss's brothers. Ha, ha, ha. Who's there? Swish. The old members of the proud heaven sect were startled. They looked at Qin Yen, who had shouted suddenly and was surrounded by violent energy. They did not feel anything unusual. Chen Nan, who had drunk a lot, suddenly felt his hair stand on end. He instantly went to Qin Yen's side. Ha, ha, ha. Not bad, not bad. You're just a kid at the human celestial stage, but you can sense the old man's detection. Who are you? Why are you sneaking around? Ha, ha, sneaking around? The old man is still 90 million miles away. I have no choice. I'll be there soon. What? Chen Nan, Chen Yen, Hu Yen Aobua, and the others all widened their eyes in shock when they heard the voice that sounded like it was right next to their ears. Chapter 872. On the Wuji star, the central continent, the eastern continent, and even the mortal world, no one sensed anything unusual. However, those who were related to Qin Hao and those who were related to Qin Shui and the other girls all disappeared overnight. No one knew what had happened. Before the primitive secret land ended, a conspiracy against Qin Hao was brewing. Who would have thought? In the primitive secret land. In the 1040th year, in the entire primitive secret realm, everywhere in the void, a terrifying tremor suddenly surged. Many spacetime doors that connected the 9 heavens and 10 earths and gave off boundless mysteries appeared above every cultivator. At the same time, every cultivator felt the token vibrate intensely for the first time. It's over. It's finally over. Is it over? Heaven immortal, ha ha ha. Not only have I become a heaven immortal, but I've also obtained countless Dharma treasures. Ha ha ha. I will definitely become the top genius of the faction and be valued by the faction. Finally, I don't have to suffer anymore. There were those who were excited, those who were sentimental, and those who were stifled. Almost every cultivator let out a long howl at the sky at this moment, venting their feelings. 1 year and 40 years. When they entered, they were only at the Earth's celestial stage. Apart from some old people, for the young geniuses, it was undoubtedly a long time. Now, no matter what happened in the primitive secret land, those who were able to leave alive had gained a lot. Even the cultivators of the mysterious tribe who were depressed could hold their heads high when they returned. No one doubted this. At least in the records, there had never been such a crazy Earth's celestial stage primitive secret land. Swoosh. 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 Many figures exuded their most powerful auras and rushed toward the dazzling spacetime gates. It's over. At this moment, on a desolate mountain peak in the primitive secret realm, Chen Hao, whose arms were held by the sisters, was also extremely excited as he looked towards the sky. Countless tokens gathered around him. What was more amazing was that the tokens of the deity tribe and the insect tribe in his mind had also activated the spacetime gates of the 2 galaxies, causing the spacetime gates to gather above Chen Hao. Brother Hao, let's go. Wait. Swoosh. Greetings, Master. Following Chen Hao's words, several Zerg and Protoss experts, who had been taken into Chen Hao's mind, knelt respectfully in front of Chen Hao. These are the helmets of our human race's second world, one for each of you. Go. Yes, Master. Don't think that you can escape from my control just because you've broken through the Daluo Jinxian. As long as I want to, I can destroy your body and soul at any time. If you don't believe me, you can give it a try when we get back. Seeing the excitement in their eyes, Chen Hao said coldly. Master, we wouldn't dare. It doesn't matter if you dare or not. No one can obtain my secret from you. Once an expert above the Daluo Golden Wonderland investigates it, your souls will be destroyed. I've already told you what I should. I'll only look for you if I need you. If I don't, then just be yourself. Perhaps, I won't need you for the rest of your lives. Go. Yes. Master, if you summon me, I will not refuse. Swoosh. Swoosh. Brother Hao, when the alien race expert's spatial gates disappeared, the sisters looked at Chen Hao with a hint of worry. Don't worry. I'm not trying to scare them. Besides, they've been converted over the past few hundred years. It's a pity to kill them, but they might be useful in the future. Go. You should enter your spatial gates. Oh. Brother Hao. We weren't able to help you turn into a mortal. I'm sorry, silly girl, why are you being so polite with me? You've already progressed very quickly. Alright, let's go. I'll see you in the second world. I'm afraid we can't. Our second world has been restricted, then wait for me to settle that matter. When we return to the vast universe star system, it'll be time for the battle in 10 years. I'd like to see who dares to control you. Go. Alright. Brother Hao. We'll wait for you. Chen Hao watched as the spirited sisters, who had become even more beautiful under his nourishment, disappeared into the dimensional gate. He took a deep breath and took a step forward. Battle in 10 years, Happy Valley, Demonic Ant Planet. A bunch of rascals. Not only have I become a heavenly immortal, I'm at the peak of the advanced heavenly immortal stage. Moreover, I'm in my mortal state. It's been 6 years. 1,000 years in the primitive mystic realm, so it should be 6 years in the vast universe star system. Brother, sister, Albua, and the first king should have stepped out of the boundless planet by now. I wonder how they're doing now. I've killed a genius from the vast universe star system. I don't think they'll let me off so easily. Chen Hao was filled with questions, anticipation, excitement, and helplessness as he entered his own spacetime gate. After returning to vast universe galaxy for a short 6 years, even Chen Hao didn't think that he would grow to such a degree. There was pride, there was anticipation, there was excitement from being reunited with his family and friends, but there was also a trace of helplessness. Once a person stepped into the world of cultivation, there was no turning back. This was a world where the strong were respected. If one did not want to be eaten, then the only way was to become stronger and reach the peak of martial arts step by step. Now, Qin Hao knew that he could dominate the primitive mystic realm, but he was nothing in the eyes of some big shots. He was still an ant. Buzz. In the spatial gate, Qin Hao quietly closed his eyes and felt the mysteries of the changes in time and space. Although his realm was far from being able to understand the mysteries of the spatial gate, he would not miss this opportunity. Cultivators were like boats going against the current. If they did not improve, or if they improved too slowly, they might fall on the path to the peak of martial arts, Qi. A stream of light flashed past, and Qin Hao's figure appeared in front of a familiar giant aircraft. At this moment, the aircraft was under the control of a supreme expert from Hongmeng. It was still shining brightly and connected to the 9 heavens and 10 earths, opening the spatial gate for cultivators. 6 years ago, he left. 6 years later, it felt like a lifetime had passed. He had killed along the way, bringing with him endless glory, endless treasures, as well as extremely high battle results and contribution points. He had returned with a full load. Qin Hao, he is the god of massacre, Qin Hao. Number 1 of the human race, Qin Hao who dominated the primitive mystic realm. He is indeed a dragon among men. I did not expect this, I really did not expect this. In the aircraft, dozens of elders stood on both sides of the entrance of the aircraft. When they saw Qin Hao's figure appear, they swarmed out. Their eyes were filled with excitement and admiration as they looked at the calm Qin Hao, as if they were welcoming a warrior who had returned victorious. Master, behind the many experts, a young girl stood on her tiptoes. Her face was red from excitement, and her eyes were filled with tears. She looked at Qin Hao's figure and murmured in her heart. At this moment, 6 years had passed, but she still felt that it was unreal, as if it was a dream. It wasn't until she saw Qin Hao's gaze pass through the crowd and smile at her that her fragile and nervous heart finally calmed down a little. Soon after, tears of happiness poured down. Master did not forget about her, she wanted to jump over, but she forced herself to hold back. She knew how lowly her status was. To be able to receive her master's favor and pity was already a blessing that she had cultivated for hundreds of generations. How could she affect her master's reputation in front of so many people? In these 6 years, she had been collecting information about Qin Hao all the time. And the Fan family had also fulfilled their promise to Qin Hao, treating him as a VIP and not a human Dan. Especially after Qin Hao's battle results and contribution points had skyrocketed, Fan Xiaoqing's treatment had also increased. Furthermore, the Fan family had also discovered the relationship between Fan Donglu, Fan Dongsheng, and Qin Hao through the internal investigation of the alliance, so they could not mistreat Fan Xiaoqing. Even if they all knew that Fan Xiaoqing was just Qin Hao's servant, murderous god Qin Hao, congratulations on your triumphant return. Congratulations, congratulations. When the captain, an expert from the Grand Mist Supremacy realm, was the first to cup his fists, ignoring the other returning cultivators and congratulating Qin Hao alone with a smile, the other experts on the aircraft all greeted him enthusiastically. And the other returning cultivators did not hide anything. Instead, they all looked at Qin Hao who was right in front of them with excitement. Murderous god Qin Hao. It was such a person who stood proudly in the 10 major galaxies of the primal secret realm, and no one dared to compete with him. There was no jealousy, only respect, admiration, and envy. That was an existence that had completely surpassed their level. For the rest of their lives, he was destined to be an existence that they would look up to. Thank you, Qin Hao smiled and cupped his fists towards the elders, without any arrogance of a young man. Under everyone's envious gaze, Qin Hao stepped onto the aircraft and walked straight to Fan Xiaoqing. Without any hesitation, he wiped away the tears of happiness on Fan Xiaoqing's face and held her little hand, walking towards the VIP room. Chen Xiaoye, please. It turned out that the steward of the Fan family who had contacted Qin Hao was 100 times more respectful than before. That was respect that came from the bottom of his heart, and not just on the surface. He led the two of them enthusiastically, even though they didn't need him at all. This manager had already received the order from the head of the Fan family. Murderous god Chen Hao was the most important guest of the Fan family. At any time, any request, even if it cost him his life, he had to do his best to fulfill it. He was very clear about the kindness that murderous god Chen Hao had towards Fan Shaoqing and Fan Donglu. At the same time, he was also very envious of Fan Shaoqing's luck as a human pill. Captain, it's a bit strange. Although Chen Hao has restrained his aura, he is indeed very strong. But I feel that he shouldn't be able to dominate the 10 major galaxies. Could it be that the alien race that entered the primal secret realm this time is not very strong? I find it strange too. But there is no doubt that the alien race is a genius. I have seen the specific battle situation in the primal secret realm. Chen Hao's battle power can only be described as terrifying. It can't be wrong. Maybe it's because of his unique skill to hide his aura. When Chen Hao and Fan Shaoqing entered the VIP room, the elders on the aircraft communicated secretly. Chapter 873. Peak of the initial stage of the Earth's celestial stage. Shaoqing, did you trigger the divine punishment here? After entering the VIP room, Chen Hao looked at Fan Shaoqing, who had tied up her long hair and was full of femininity, and asked. No, the supervisor brought me into the planet to trigger it. Master. Thank you. Fan Shaoqing lowered her head and didn't dare to look at Chen Hao. They were only together for a short time, and they didn't know much about each other. They were separated for 6 years, and during these 6 years, the man in front of her carried the supreme glory and the aura of a superior. This made Fan Shaoqing, who was born in a humble family, nervous. Thank me for what? You don't have to be nervous. Chen Hao touched Fan Shaoqing's head and gently pulled her into his arms. He could feel Fan Shaoqing's trembling body and said softly. Well. Master. The supervisor told me everything about you. The head of the Fan family personally met me in the second world and asked me to tell Master that when you come out, you must enter the second world and contact him. He said that he has something important to tell you. Oh. The head of the Fan family is Fan Dongliu's grandfather? Chen Hao asked. Although he was familiar with Fan Donglu and Fan Dongsheng, his understanding of the Fan family was limited. No, it's Miss Dongliu's great-grandfather. He said it's about the battle between the Happy Valley and Master in 10 years. Hearing Fan Shaoqing's words, Chen Hao frowned slightly. Was the battle in 10 years still a big deal to him? Not to mention that everyone just called him the god of killing. Even if this didn't happen, Chen Hao could imagine that his every move in the primitive mystic realm would have been spread to the vast universe galaxy. With the combat power he showed, Chen Hao wasn't conceited, but how powerful could a sect like the Happy Valley invite a divine immortal? The head of the Fan family must know this, and because of this, Chen Hao felt strange. Okay. Let's go in together. Take me to see him. Okay. This time, Chen Hao directly used the spirit helmet of the true body. His essence, qi, and spirit were suddenly released. At the same time, he offered up a drop of essence blood. In an instant, the helmet of the spirit helmet bloomed with an incomparably bright light. Fan Shaoqing, who was beside Chen Hao, opened her mouth wide in shock. That aura was too powerful for her. At least, none of the heavenly immortal realm experts she had seen could compare to Chen Hao. As soon as Chen Hao entered, countless notifications sounded. The latest ones were from Long Ting, Long Yi, Pan Long, Du Jing, Pan Dong Lu, Pan Dong Sheng, Lan Feng, and a few others. There were also a few cultivators that Chen Hao was familiar with, but he had never interacted with them. He had only given them his contact number before he left. Chen Hao quickly read the messages. Long Ting, Pan Long, and the others naturally invited Chen Hao to meet in the second world. As for the astounding Thunder Legion, the friends he had made under Li Yuan's identity were full of surprise and disbelief. Their words were full of praise and admiration. The other tens of thousands of messages made Chen Hao's heart feel warm. Those were the messages he had received since 4 years ago. They were all from the senior members of the Proud Heaven Legion. They were constantly reporting to him about their situation. What touched Chen Hao the most was his sister Qin Yan. She sent him a message almost every day. It was only half a month ago that she stopped. Looking at his sister's detailed report, which revealed her deep longing for him, as well as her subtle expression of her feelings, a faint smile appeared on the corners of Chen Hao's mouth as he shook his head. His sister had grown up. It was just like his premonition. His sister's feelings for him were no longer as simple as that of siblings. Chen Hao couldn't describe how he felt. In his memory, his sister was still a little girl who hadn't grown up. What they had was true family love. As for love, the love between a man and a woman, to be honest, Chen Hao really didn't have that. But he would never let his sister be sad in the slightest. There was no reason for him to accept it. Moreover, he believed that this kind of familial love could be transformed into the love between a man and a woman. It was a very simple matter. After all, they weren't related by blood. Otherwise, his sister wouldn't have such feelings for him. Chen Hao was multitasking. In a moment, he replied one after another. He told Long Ting, Pan Long, and the others that he was going to meet the patriarch of the Fan family. He also notified Fan Donglu and Fan Dongsheng. As for his younger brother, sister, Huyan Aobua, and the other senior members of the Proud Heaven Legion, Chen Hao directly told them to wait for him at the Wuji base on the Yang planet. He thought that he would soon receive a reply or even a communication request, but to Chen Hao's surprise, his younger brother, sister, Huyan Aobua, and the others didn't reply. Chen Hao didn't think too much about it. He first contacted Fan Shaoqing. Then, Chen Hao directly took the teleportation array and went to East Flow City. Brother Hao. Boss. Master. When Chen Hao arrived at East Flow City, Fan Donglu, Fan Dongsheng, and Chen Hao were already waiting at the exit of the teleportation array. When they saw him, the three of them directly greeted him. Brother Hao, the patriarch has already contacted me. He's waiting for you at the base, Fan Donglu said. I didn't expect Brother Hao to know Shaoqing, ahem. It's a coincidence. Don't snitch to your sisters-in-law for the time being. I'll tell them myself. Chen Hao smiled slightly and pulled Fan Shaoqing back. Fan Donglu curled his lips. Although he didn't show anything on the surface, and he already had an accurate position of himself, it would be strange if he wasn't jealous of Fan Shaoqing in his heart. She was a dignified young lady. Whether it was appearance, talent, or status, she was several times better than Fan Shaoqing, but she didn't have Fan Shaoqing's life. Master. Shaoqing is just your servant. Mistress. Mistress won't blame Shaoqing, right? Fan Shaoqing said with a red face. No. It's just that I didn't have time to tell them. Okay, let's go. Boss, your battle record and contribution points are as lonely as snow. Although I expected it, I didn't expect it to be so high. Boss, you've rested for 600 or 700 years. Fan Dongsheng had already received the statistical information on the pagoda monument and was extremely excited. Even his achievements were extremely dazzling, making more than 90% of the disciples of the Divine Temple blush with shame. And he knew that all of this was because he followed the right boss. Ha! There's a lot you can't imagine. However, the statistical ability of this token is really abnormal. Chen Shaoqing obediently followed behind Chen Hao. In front of others, she didn't dare to have any intimate actions. Although she knew that Chen Hao wouldn't have any objections if she held on to Chen Hao's arm, she was very clear about her position. She didn't want Chen Hao to have any difficulties because of her. This is Chen Hao, brother Chen, right? Ha ha ha. You're indeed a dragon among men. When Chen Hao's group of 4 appeared at the enormous encampment of the Fan family at East Flow City in the Second World, a sage-like old man stroked his long beard and stared at Chen Hao with bright eyes as he enthusiastically said, Chapter 874. Great-grandfather. Why are you calling him that? Brother Hao is our boss. Pan Dong Lu suddenly rushed to the old man's side like a little bird and said frankly. You guys do what you need to do. Great-grandfather will do what he needs to do. Heroes don't matter how old they are. Family leader Fan, please don't kill me. Dong Lu and Dong Sheng are my brothers and sisters. I really don't deserve to be called that. Chen Hao cupped his fists and bowed. He didn't expect that the family leader of the Fan family would welcome a little sky immortal like him at the door. This was a true master of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm. Normal people didn't even have the right to see him, but the family leader of the Fan family not only welcomed him at the door, but also called him brother. This was too warm, haha. That's good too. It is Dong Lu and Dong Sheng's good fortune to have a big brother like you. Come, let's go in and talk. Family head Fan heard Chen Hao's words and was slightly taken aback. Then, the smile on his face became more sincere as he waved his hand and said, Brother Hao, this is my grandfather, these are my parents, boss, this is my grandfather. Although there were many people welcoming Chen Hao, only the direct elders of Fan Donglu and Fan Dongsheng could enter the core palace with the family leader of the Fan family. After Chen Hao was forced to the VIP seats by the family leader of the Fan family, Fan Donglu and Fan Dongsheng introduced Chen Hao. Chen Hao, old man will call you by your name. This time, I have to thank you for taking care of Donglu and Dongsheng in the primitive secret realm. Without you, I'm afraid they wouldn't have been able to come out. Family leader Fan, you're welcome. Donglu and Dongsheng are both core members of the Proud Heavens. It's only right for them to do anything. Family leader Fan, Little Qing said that you're looking for me to talk about the 10-year battle between me and the Valley of Happiness? Chen Hao said. Facing a master of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm, Chen Hao didn't have the slightest reservations. Of course, the main reason was that the other party had concealed his aura. Otherwise, no one would be able to be at ease with just the pressure he emitted. Not bad. Ever since he learned of your relationship with Donglu and Dongsheng, old man has been paying attention to your situation and collecting all the information about you. I also heard about your duel with the Valley of Happiness. A while ago, when I was gathering with a few old friends, I happened to hear some things. I'm afraid that your duel with the Valley of Happiness has already evolved into the revenge of a few top clans and sects. I believe that you can guess which clans and sects it is. Chen Hao frowned slightly and responded. Because of the battle techniques and contribution points you obtained, you received the highest level of protection from the temple, so they didn't dare to act recklessly. That's why they made an issue out of your 10-year battle with the Valley of Happiness, and it's a battle to the death. Upon hearing family head Fan's words, Chen Hao's eyes shone with pride as he said confidently, it doesn't matter. Since they want to make use of this arranged battle, then they can only send a heavenly celestial stage expert to deal with me. Heavenly celestial stage is nothing to me. That's right. Brother Hao can even kill a mid-stage Daluo Jinxian easily, let alone a heavenly celestial stage expert. Pan Donglu said. That's right, family head. Boss was able to dominate the 10 major galaxies of the primal mystic realm. He's definitely not someone that the heavenly celestial stage experts of their clans and sects can contend with, you guys. If it's really that simple, why would I, your great-grandfather, look for your boss? Chen Hao, your aura is indeed very strong. Although you've hidden it, in old man's eyes, it's not completely undetectable, but at least it's not far from the mark. And this time, the heavenly celestial stage expert they've invited to duel with you is the temple's #1 heavenly celestial stage genius, Xiao Yan. Ah! Upon hearing family head Fan's words, Pan Donglu cried out in surprise, looking extremely shocked. Fan Dongsheng and Chen Hao were puzzled. Obviously, the two of them did not know much about the temple's #1 heavenly celestial stage genius, Xiao Yan. From Pan Donglio's expression, it could be seen that Xiao Yan was definitely not simple. However, he still could not cause any waves in Chen Hao's heart. This was the confidence of a powerhouse. Fan Dongsheng, who did not know who Xiao Yan was, had absolute confidence in his boss, Qin Hao. Dong Lu, can't boss deal with him? As long as he's a heavenly celestial, I don't think there's anyone who can be boss's opponent. Fan Dongsheng looked at Pan Dong Lu and said. Xiao Yan, the number one genius of the Xiao family, the number one family in the vast universe galaxy. He's less than 1,000 years old, but he's already at the peak of the late-stage heavenly celestial stage. It's said that 100 years ago, he had the strength to kill a mid-stage Daluo Jingxian. No one in the temple dares to provoke him, not only because of his strength, but also because of the Xiao family's background. Half of the temple can be said to belong to the Xiao family. Pan Donglu said solemnly. That's right. Hearing Pan Dongliu's words, the Fan family's patriarch showed a look of approval. As the number one genius of the Fan family, she received education in all aspects, especially information about the top geniuses of the vast universe galaxy. It was one of the compulsory courses. Now, Xiao Yan has reached the peak of the heavenly celestial stage and can step into the ranks of Daluo Jingxian at any time. You have to be fully prepared. This is very unfair to you, and it may cause irreparable consequences. Although our Fan family is the number one family in East Flow City, we can't shake them at all. It's even more impossible to deter them. So, if you can use your background, it's best to use it. The Fan family's patriarch stared at Qin Hao and said meaningfully. Now, all kinds of information about Qin Hao, although they did not dare to say that they had dug 3 feet into the ground, many suspicious points had been exposed. No one thought that Qin Hao did not have any background, but as for what his background was, no one knew for the time being. Understood. To be honest, I don't know if my background is useful or not, and I can't take the initiative to contact him. Thank you for reminding me, Patriarch Fan. Then what do you plan to do? At the same level, I have no reason not to fight. Qin Hao said with a slight smile. Qin Hao, if you can't get Xiao Yan to reject you, I suggest that you temporarily avoid the battle. This is a life and death battle, even if you have the strength to kill Xiao Yan, what are the consequences? Moreover, Xiao Yan's background is very strong. Now, even Daluo Jingxian at the late stage might not be his match. And although you have obtained 1,000 years of experience in the primal secret realm, it is still a bit rushed. Looking at Qin Hao's calm expression and the sharp glint in his eyes, Patriarch Fan reminded him again. I'm afraid I don't have a choice. Fighting openly is better than them scheming in the dark. Qin Hao said with a frown. Patriarch Fan, everyone, my brothers and sisters in proud heaven are waiting for me. Goodbye, thank you. Wait, this is the information old man collected, perhaps it will be of some help to you, Qi. A milky white light floated in front of Qin Hao. Thank you. After Qin Hao absorbed it into his forehead, he pulled Qin Shaoqing, cupped his fists to everyone, and flew into the sky. Fan Donglu and Fan Dongsheng also followed closely behind. Chapter 875. Master, I'll leave first. When the 4 of them arrived at the teleportation array, Qin Shaoqing saw Qin Hao looking at her. Smart as she was, she turned into a ray of white light and disappeared from the second world. Qin Hao was taken aback for a moment. He shook his head and stepped into the teleportation array with Pan Donglu and Pan Dongsheng, heading straight for Vast Universe City. Boss, we'll wait for you at the entrance of the Alliance Teleportation Center. As soon as they stepped out of the teleportation array, Du Jing contacted Qin Hao and said excitedly. Du Jing was the disciple of the Valley Master of Poison King Valley. Before he stepped into the primitive secret realm, he was the number one genius of Poison King Valley. Now that he had improved tremendously, his status in Poison King Valley was even higher. Now, everyone was still on the aircraft returning to Vast Universe System. After entering the second world in advance, the gathering was set at Vast Universe City's Poison King Valley encampment. Qin Hao, Fan Donglu, and Fan Dongsheng had just come out when Long Ting, like an arrow leaving the bow, directly jumped into Qin Hao's arms. Du Jing, Pan Long, Lan Feng, Long Yi, as well as Chen Ling and Li Yang, who were easily brought back by Du Jing and had obtained the Spirit Realm helmets, also excitedly came to greet them. Senior brother, it's not over yet. Pan Long lowered his head and bent his waist, sensing Chen Hao's restrained aura. He could tell at a glance that Chen Hao was still in the transcendent mortal state. It's not that easy, boss, brother Pan, let's go to our Poison King Valley encampment first. Let's go. Du Jing looked at the countless cultivators around him and said telepathically. Okay. More than 10 minutes later, everyone took the teleportation array and arrived outside Vast Universe City, at the entrance of a palace complex in the Cloud Mountain Range. It was many times bigger than the Fan family encampment in East Flow City. From this, it could be seen how high the status of Poison King Valley was in Vast Universe System. Boss, my master wants to see you, there's something important, Chen Hao frowned slightly. From Du Jing's expression, he could vaguely guess that he should be similar to the head of the Fan family. The truth was just as Chen Hao expected. However, the valley head of the Poison King Valley was obviously much more powerful than the Fan family head. Furthermore, unlike the hasty meeting between the Fan family head and Chen Hao, the valley head of the Poison King Valley should have already discussed the situation with Du Jing and understood more about Chen Hao's situation. He did not ask Chen Hao to avoid the fight, but only told Chen Hao not to underestimate his opponent. Boss! Boss! When Chen Hao, Du Jing, and the others arrived at a huge palace, thousands of young cultivators stood up at the same time and shouted excitedly at Chen Hao. At a glance, Chen Hao recognized less than 1/10 of them. Chen Hao had never seen most of them before. These were the elites selected by Du Jing and Lan Feng, who were mainly in charge of the outer members of Proud Sky, to become core members. Sensing the auras of the crowd, a sharp glint flashed across Chen Hao's eyes. Even though he was still in his transcendent mortal state, everyone in the hall felt as though they had been seen through. The noisy hall immediately fell silent. Boss, these are the elites of Proud Sky. Everyone, listen up. From front to back, from left to right, introduce yourselves one by one. Let boss know who you are. Yes. Sit down. Since you're all here, you must be the elites of Proud Sky. I believe that Du Jing and Lan Feng's judgment is correct. I know many of you here. Now that we've stepped out of the primal secret realm, we'll be going our separate ways. Don't forget the friendship we once had. If there's any trouble in the future, that's enough. There's no need for introductions. Boss, hearing Chen Hao's words, Du Jing and Lan Feng's expressions changed slightly. They wanted to say something, but Chen Hao waved his hand to stop them. I know what you're thinking. However, we're still not strong enough. The strongest among us is only at Heavenly Immortal Realm. You can register for a guardian group first. When we're strong enough, we can establish the Proud Sky Legion, a real legion. We can also establish a sect. But now, what can we do if we stick together? Relying on people, the heavens, or background. It's useless. Only by being strong can we be considered strong. Boss, you mean, we should register for a guardian group, develop separately, and then merge? That's right. We're still young. If we band together too early, we'll miss out on many things. Of course, I'm not disbanding. Keep in touch and develop on your own. If you encounter any trouble that you can't solve, you can contact Du Jing or Lan Feng. The prerequisite is that you don't go against the principles of Proud Sky. Don't worry, boss. Alright, let's drink to our heart's content today. Alright. The banquet lasted for 3 days. Chen Hao wasn't afraid. Even though it was a virtual wine from the second world, it was no different from real wine due to the uniqueness of the second world. Even Chen Hao was dizzy from drinking, but he maintained his sobriety from beginning to end. During the drinking session, Chen Hao didn't show the slightest arrogance of a god of slaughter. He didn't even say anything. However, it was precisely because of this that everyone present felt flattered. This was the god of slaughter who deterred the 10 galaxies, and they were able to drink with him and call him brother. Beep, beep, beep. When everyone dispersed and Qin Hao was about to exit the second world, he received a communication request in his mind. Senior brother. Junior brother. Senior brother, I was just about to contact you. I just came out of the primitive mystic realm and returned to the aircraft. Haha, junior brother, congratulations. Your second senior brother and I have calculated everything, but we still underestimated you. I didn't expect you to achieve such glory. It's just a so-so. Senior brother, you've already advanced to Daluo Jingxian. I'm still a small heavenly immortal. You can sense that. Gu Chen was slightly surprised. This was the second world. They didn't meet but only communicate. Moreover, he entered with the cultivation of a heavenly immortal. Senior brother, you're in high spirits as if you're decades younger. Can't I guess? When you come back, settle the matter in the Valley of Happiness first. After Yuanru comes out, the 4 of us can have a good gathering. About your master Han Mei. I just learned a little from Yunwei. I didn't expect her to be Samsara. You and Qin Shui should know her true identity, right? This. I really don't know. Senior brother, let's talk about it when I get back. Send my regards to second senior brother. Okay. By the way, senior brother, can you help me find out where my younger siblings and Huyan Aobo are training? I received a message from them a few days ago, but now I can't contact any of them. Oh? Okay. I'll go check now. I'll send you a message later. Okay. After cutting off the communication, Qin Hao shook his head, feeling a little uneasy. Eldest senior brother Gu Chen obviously didn't know that the matter in the Valley of Happiness had evolved into a top-sex revenge against him. Qin Yan, Qin Nan, and the others knew that he was about to come out. Logically speaking, they should be guarding the second world. Why weren't they all there? Qin Hao didn't care at first, but now that he knew that a top sect wanted to deal with him, he couldn't ignore it. I hope they didn't do it. 2 cold rays of light flashed in Qin Hao's eyes. He turned into a white light and disappeared from the second world. Chapter 876. The tree wanted peace but the wind did not stop. Qin Hao did not expect his peaceful cultivation to be disrupted as soon as he stepped out of the primitive realm. Phew, master, Qin Shaoqing saw Qin Hao let out a long sigh of relief and took off the spirit helmet. She obediently walked behind Qin Hao and gently massaged Qin Hao's shoulders with practiced hands. She could feel the boundless fighting spirit surging under Qin Hao's calm appearance. However, she did not know how to comfort him and could not help in any way. Shaoqing, call the manager of the Fan family over. I have something to discuss with him. Okay. Master, please wait for a moment. Chen Shaoqing did not dare to ask more and quickly walked out of the cultivation room. A moment later, the manager who had been in contact with Qin Hao quickly followed Chen Shaoqing. Brother Chen, if there's anything you need, feel free to tell me. As long as it's within my power, I'll do my best. Even if I can't, the captain and the others will fully support you. Everyone on this aircraft is on our side. The steward said respectfully before Qin Hao could say anything. Thank you. I'm relieved to hear that. It's like this, I want to leave the aircraft alone. Ah. Qin Hao's words caused the manager to cry out in surprise. Chen Shaoqing's expression also changed. I have a miniature aircraft, its performance and speed are not worse than this aircraft. Qin Hao said bluntly. I know that, but... Brother Chen, it's at least half a year's journey from here to the vast universe galaxy. If you leave alone, you'll use up a lot of energy. Moreover, there are many risks in the chaotic space. Without the Supreme of Hongmeng, it'll be very dangerous, I know that. But I don't have time. I hope you can let me leave quietly. I don't want to disturb outsiders. Brother Chen, you've decided? Yes, All right then, the patriarch has instructed that if you have any needs, I'll fulfill them. I'll talk to the captain. Brother Chen, be careful, you're pregnant, don't be targeted. Don't worry. This is a small token of my appreciation. As for the captain, I'll have to trouble Senior. Chi. Chen Hao immediately took out 20 drops of Emperor Jade Marrow and floated them in front of the manager. Emperor Chalcedony. That won't do. Brother Chen, let alone me, even the captain wouldn't dare to take your things. If the clan head finds out, it will be terrible. Take it. This is just a small token of my appreciation. Besides, it's nothing to me. This. How can I accept this? Don't be so polite, we're all family. All right. Thank you, Brother Chen. I'll go look for the captain now. Chi. The steward's eyes lit up as he carefully stored the Emperor Jade Marrow into his mind. Even for him, such a precious item was something that could only be found by chance. Even the captain of the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm was no exception. Of course, if the Supreme of Hongmeng used it, it wouldn't have much effect. But who didn't have descendants and disciples? This was a heaven-defying saint-grade spirit herb, and Chen Hao had taken out 20 drops of it. He was too generous. He knew about the situation in the primitive mystic realm. Ordinary cultivators couldn't even get 1 drop. It was already good enough for a legion commander to get a few drops. Many important people were already tempted to buy it from cultivators in the primitive mystic realm for their disciples. Even now, he was still in contact with other cultivators on the aircraft to buy ancient treasures and spirit herbs. The Emperor Jade Marrow was what he wanted the most. But most people didn't have enough for themselves. They didn't even have a single drop. Master, Shaoqing. Can I follow you? Did I say I want you to stay? Chen Hao looked at Fan Shaoqing, who was about to cry, and smiled. Of course I want to take you with me. However, you heard what the manager said just now. It's very dangerous, Shaoqing isn't afraid. As long as I can stay by your side and serve you, Shaoqing is willing to die. Chen Shaoqing said firmly. Don't worry. As long as I don't die, you won't die. Thank you, Master. An hour later, the captain of the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm personally blocked all auras and opened the front hatch of the aircraft. Chen Hao and Chen Shaoqing activated Xiaoji No. 1 and left quietly. Junior brother, this is bad. As soon as they left the Alliance aircraft, Chen Hao logged into the second world. After seeing the message left by Gu Chen, he immediately sent a communication request. Senior brother, what's the situation? Your younger siblings, Huyan Albua, and the others were originally training in the northern mystic domain of the Yang planet. That place can connect to the second world at any time. Moreover, for their cultivation, it's not very dangerous. But now they can't be contacted. Lu Qingyang and Guan Nanchao learned from the Wuji Elite Academy that Moue, Dongfang Jian, Xiao Mei, and all the others related to you have disappeared. They were supposed to come to the Yang planet in a few days. Gu Chen's words made Chen Hao, who had always been calm and mentally prepared after reading the message, lose his cool at this moment. Just from the image and the look in his eyes, Gu Chen sensed a murderous aura that made even him, a Daluo Jingxian, feel aghast. Chen Hao's handsome face trembled slightly. He gritted his teeth and did not say a word. In this situation, Gu Chen could not help but call out worriedly. I understand, senior brother, Chi. Chen Hao said only one sentence and then cut off the communication. When Gu Chen sent a communication request again, there was no response. Master, Chi. Chi. Chen Shaoqing was forced into a corner of the aircraft by the terrifying pressure emanating from Chen Hao. Both his soul and physical body were unable to move, and he was on the verge of exploding. At this time, Chen Shaoqing could only struggle and shout through the soul contract in the depths of his mind. A wisp of intelligence flashed across Chen Hao's scarlet eyes. The killing intent that had materialized between his eyebrows suddenly disappeared. At the same time, he sent out a dazzling energy to wrap Chi. I'm sorry, Chi, it's alright, Master, go to my macro world and practice on your own. I'll provide you with spiritual herbs, spiritual spring, and magic weapons. Master, can I do anything for you? Just practice at ease. I'll come to you when I need you. Go in first. Chi. Chi. Follow the fleet alone. When you reach the vast universe galaxy, send a message to Pan Long, Du Jing, Lan Feng, and the others. Mobilize all the forces they can to go to the Yang City. Also, tell Chi. 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 Yes, Master. Old God, come out. Buzz. When the hatch of Chi 1 opened, Chi. 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 Go to the Yang planet at full speed. Chi. 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 Do your best to help me refine these things. Use the stored materials as you please. Don't worry about wasting them. Chi. Chi. Master, your state of mind. Fuck your state of mind. Cut the crap. Release all the pressure. Okay, after handing over control to treasure hunting sword spirit, he began to refine according to Chenhao's instructions. The old god wasn't stupid. After being with Chenhao for so many years, he knew all of Chenhao's secrets. But now, Chenhao wanted him to refine something at all costs. Even the old god was trembling all over. Only the word crazy could describe it. Oh, my reverse scale, I seem to have seen the purgatory of the mortal realm. Only such a master is worthy of being entrusted with everything. To be able to be master's brother and sister is already a blessing. So what if he's the supreme of Hongmeng? So what if they were a top sect? Since this world, this universe, has touched master's reverse scale, it must be bathed in blood. I know the consequences are serious, but why am I so excited? Boss, what's going on? I've never seen master so angry, motherfucker, control it with all your might. Don't ask about things you shouldn't know. Boss, I'm just concerned about master. With my current abilities, I should be able to help master. Help my ass. Control it with all your might. Whenever you sense a direction that's beneficial to master, get closer. After this, master will help you refine your strongest body. Cough cough. Tell me about it. If I don't know, I won't feel at ease. In short, there's a blind supreme of Hongmeng and a top sect that has touched master's siblings and friends. Then master, even the heavens cannot touch him. They all deserve to die. Do your job. Is master's father a useless person? Coiling dragon, Du Jing, and the rest's background is not to be trifled with. As for master. I won't hide it from you. With my help, you just wait and see how this little immortal wreaks havoc in vast universe galaxy. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. I understand. In the second world, Du Jing, Coiling Dragon, Lan Feng, Long Yi, Long Ting, and the rest were gathered in a private room in a tavern on vast universe star. Boss must be training with all his might. Du Jing said. With Xiao Yan's strength, even senior brother doesn't dare to underestimate him. However, I believe senior brother will win. Coiling Dragon said. But this is a life and death battle. Xiao Yan's background is too strong. The number one family in vast universe star, half of the temple is under the Xiao family's control. Even if master wins, he will be bullied. Brother Pan, why don't you contact your Manhuang tribe? Master's matter might involve the upper echelons. Du Jing said. Do I need you to tell me that? I've already contacted them. Wait for their reply. Our Manhuang tribe has been in seclusion for too long. Even if I come out this time, they won't pay much attention to me. When the contact person comes to the second world, it will be fine. I've also contacted them. Lan Feng said. Chapter 877. Donglu and Dongsheng already know. I want to do something. A fierce glint flashed in Du Jing's eyes as he looked at everyone. You mean, the other members of AO Tian? Let's not tell boss about this. We'll do it in private. Hu Mainyang's relationship with boss is obvious. Whether she supports it or not, we have to contact her. It's good that she supports it, but if she doesn't, she can't blame us for not telling her. My position in the demise sect is low. The only one I can ask is my master, Xie Sun. Let's see how much he can help me. Long Yi said. Don't contact Bailey Ningbing. Moling Takshu is the #1 genius of the Perpetual Life sect. It's good enough that she doesn't cause trouble. It's not likely that we'll ask them for help. Lan Feng and the outer members of AO Tian are familiar with us. We'll contact them separately and find those with strong and trustworthy backgrounds. No matter what, boss can't lose his prestige in the final battle. Okay. Second World, Vast Universe City, Eternal Life Sect's Core Palace. Disciple Ning Bing greets the sect master. Come in. Chi. A voice filled with boundless majesty and the will of eternity rang out from the core palace. The palace doors shone with dazzling light as they opened. Bailey Ningbing took a deep breath and calmed the anxiety in her heart. She stepped into the palace. Peak late-stage heavenly immortal realm, immortal intent realm breaking through to zenith heaven. Your state of mind and aura are very strong. Very good, your improvement is unexpectedly strong. In just 6 years, you're too kind, sect master, there's no need to say more. I already know about you and Takshu. Takshu was a disciple that I nurtured myself. He was also the future leader of the Perpetual Life sect. But now, he's dead. Sect master, no matter who it is, the Perpetual Life sect will kill them. Otherwise, where will the Perpetual Life sect put its face? Sect master. I'm sorry, you didn't kill him. Why are you sorry? Tell me about your relationship with Chen Hao. I don't know. Bailey Ningbing was trembling in fear in front of the sect master of the Eternal Life sect. Her emotions were complicated. After she stepped out of the primitive mystic realm, she entered the second world and appeared directly at the base of the Eternal Life sect. However, after a few days in the second world, no matter if it was the sect leader, her master, or the cultivators of the Eternal Life sect, none of them came looking for her. It was only today that her master told her that the sect leader had summoned her. This made her feel uneasy. Then what do you know? How much do you know about him? I don't know anything. I don't understand anything. Sect master, the fault is all mine. Senior brother Moling's death was caused by me. If you want to blame someone, blame me. I'm willing to accept any punishment. Bailey Ningbing knelt in front of the sect master whose face couldn't even be seen clearly, her pretty face pale. I told you, it's not your fault. I didn't call you here to let you bear the responsibility for him. To tell you the truth, the Wan clan, the Bai clan, the Zhao clan, and more than 30 other top forces have already formed an alliance to target Chen Hao. As for me, I haven't agreed yet. I just want an attitude from you. Sect master, get up. I've put in a lot of effort. True geniuses are hard to find. From today onwards, your cultivation will be taught by me personally. Also, from today onwards, you'll cut off all contact with that brat. You can't have anything to do with him anymore. Can you do it? If you can do it, I won't pursue his responsibility anymore. The Eternal Life sect, the Grand Fourth sect, has to have a way out. If you can't do it, then the Eternal Life sect will have to take action. I can do it. Very good. I'll impart to you our sect's supreme art. Don't be distracted and throw yourself into cultivation. From today onwards, you're my personal disciple. All of the eternal life sex cultivation grounds will be open to you unconditionally. I'll check on your progress regularly. Half a year later, when your true body returns, I'll tailor a cultivation and experiential training ground for you. Yes. Chi. An extremely profound white light suddenly floated out from the eternal life sex sect master's forehead, directly entering Bailey Ningbing's mind. Buzz. Bailey Ningbing felt her mind shake, then immediately returned to normal. Apart from an additional set of the Eternal Life Sex Supreme Arts incantations and images, there was nothing else. Go! With a wave of his hand, Bailey Ningbing was sent out of the core palace. I've always pursued the peak of the martial way, why should I care about love? Moling Ta Shue's death was a blessing in disguise. Bailey Ningbing was still immersed in an inexplicable pain and making a difficult decision. But now, her mind was clear, and there was nothing else. Only a strong desire to become stronger made her state of mind and will unprecedentedly clear and firm. Even she herself didn't notice at all how her state of mind changed so quickly. Eternal Life Sex Sect Master's personal disciple, Supreme Art, taking a deep breath, Bailey Ningbing sped towards her palace. An undetectable trace of spirit slowly dissipated, returning to the core palace. The illusory figure gradually became clear. It was an old man with white hair and a youthful complexion, with a devilish smile on his lips. The great Tao is merciless. Every man for himself, and the heavens take the hindmost. With such talent, it won't be difficult to nurture her into a supreme of Hongmeng within 1,000 years. However, the obsession in her soul abode can't be extinguished. Looks like it has to be reformed continuously. A great era is coming. Men. Sect Master. Pass down my orders. From today onward, Bailey Ningbing will be my personal disciple. She will replace Moling Ta Shui. Also, as long as she needs it, the Eternal Life Sect will unconditionally open all resources to her. Understood. Call the fourth elder here as well. Understood. Beep. 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 The second world, vast universe city, Misty Rain Pavilion's base. In a huge palace, Hu Mainyang sat cross-legged. Tao laws surged around her and immortal light lingered around her. However, her bright eyes were open and she stared blankly. Her eyebrows were slightly furrowed. It was clear that she was deep in thought. At this moment, a notification sounded in her mind, waking her up with a start. Du Jing. As a famous genius of the Sacred Hall, Du Jing had known Hu Mainyang for a long time, so they had a way to contact each other in the second world. Are you going to talk about Qin Hao? I know. Tell him that Xiao Yan is very strong. Right now, I only have a 20% chance of winning, and an 80% chance of losing. He's not much stronger than me. To Du Jing's surprise, Hu Mainyang did not wait for him to speak after picking up the call. When the time comes, I'll rush over in advance. With that, Hu Mainyang cut off the call. Du Jing felt stifled, but he felt slightly comforted. This domineering woman's words were ultimately on his boss's side. Although she did not explicitly say anything, Du Jing already felt pretty good. What's going on? She cut off the call without saying anything. Around him, Coiling Dragon and the others frowned and asked when they saw Du Jing opening his mouth to speak, shaking his head, and then nodding his head. Hu Mainyang already knows. She said she'll rush over in advance. She also told me to tell boss that Xiao Yan is very strong, and with her current strength, she has no chance of winning. She only has a 20% chance of winning. No way. Xiao Yan is that strong. Everyone was shocked. When Hu Mainyang was in the Divine Temple, she came into contact with heavenly immortal geniuses. She's undoubtedly more familiar with Xiao Yan's strength. Moreover, we've received news that Xiao Yan is fighting because of Hu Mainyang. With her innate Taoist embryo, it's very possible that Xiao Yan is moved. To tell you the truth, all the disciples in the Divine Temple are moved. Hu Mainyang is indeed the goddess in everyone's hearts. Beep. 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 While Du Jing was speaking, he was surprised to receive another communication request from Hu Mainyang. Give him my number. Tell him to add me, I have something to tell him personally. Okay. Damn it, why do you have to do this? You're so domineering. Aren't you just trying to get close to our boss? Du Jing said unhappily. As soon as he said, okay, Hu Mainyang cut off the call again. After all, Du Jing was a core member of Proud Heaven, one of the right-hand men of killing god Qin Hao. Even Qin Shui and the other sisters-in-law treated Du Jing as one of their own, let alone Hu Mainyang. What did she say? She told boss to add her, she said she has something to tell him personally. She'll be boss's woman sooner or later, she's not giving me any face. Forget it, I won't lower myself to her level. Let her wait, boss won't even come online now, Du Jing said. Boss is still the best, he can subdue any kind of woman. Send a message to boss, we don't know about the illicit affairs between boss and Hu Mainyang. Maybe it's something that can help boss, okay, we can only leave a message first. Let's contact the others. Whoosh. Rumble, in the chaotic space, Old God's flying body flew at a terrifying speed under the control of Treasure Hunter's sword spirit. He didn't avoid the energy storms at all and could be described as rampaging. As for Qin Hao, he was challenging his own limits. When his essence, energy, spirit, and true essence were all exhausted, he shielded himself from the pressure and chaotic energy and resumed his cultivation, directly extracting the violent energy. The great Tao rumbled as the Tao manifestation immortal fruit bloomed between his eyebrows. The Tao manifestation immortal fruit core had been in the primitive mystic realm for 1,000 years and had been nurtured by Old God and the supreme grade spirit spring. It had already taken root in his soul, sprouting, blooming, and bearing fruit in his soul abode, growing into a heaven-defying towering tree. Every branch and leaf contained endless Tao laws and boundless vitality. It stretched into the chaotic space and absorbed the violent energy and complex Tao laws, unaffected by the violent energy. Such a terrifying form and ability left even Qin Hao aghast. He was certain that any one of the branches of the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree was a natural divine weapon. More importantly, it was like a fish in water in this chaotic space that cultivators feared. Many heavenly Tao nomological fragments that Qin Hao couldn't capture could be absorbed by it, allowing Qin Hao to sense them. Similarly, it didn't mind the violent chaotic energy. It ate it all and easily converted it into boundless and pure vitality. Chapter 878. Phew, Qin Hao let out a long sigh of relief. After he recovered from his exhausted and heavily injured state to his peak state, Qin Hao opened his eyes and stared at the branches and leaves of the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree that stretched out into the chaotic spatial storm and emanated a seven-colored radiance, and he seemed to be lost in thought. Chaotic space, chaotic energy. It contains almost all kinds of energy in the world, from low level to high level, from the five elements to their derivative energy, to yin and yang, to chaos. It's also because of this that chaotic space can break the shackles of the Tao of heaven and earth and transcend the laws of time and space. The flight speed of the aircraft in the chaotic space had to endure the violent spatial turbulence and storms. There was no doubt that the relative speed was not as fast as in a peaceful part of the universe. However, it was a fact that chaotic space spanned thousands of miles in the universe. This was something that could not be explained by science. It also transcended the laws of time and space. My physical body and soul are much stronger than the average Daluo Jinxian, but it's impossible for me to run amok in the chaotic space by myself. However, the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree can do it like a fish in water. The violent chaotic energy can't harm it at all, and it can directly absorb the endless laws and violent energy contained in it. Qin Hao's eyes sparkled. He took a deep breath and thought to himself, if I can integrate my state into the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree, won't I be able to achieve a state where there are no taboos? Treasure Hunter, open up your defenses. He acted as soon as he thought of it. However, Chen Hao knew very well that it would not be easy to integrate the carving technique and Heart Sutra into the Tao Manifestation Immortal Fruit Tree. As for him, he was still being crushed by the wheel of fate. What he lacked the most was time. Therefore, he had to combine his cultivation with the Tao Manifestation Immortal Fruit Tree. He had to do it at the same time without any delay. Yes, Master. Boom. As Treasure Hunter's voice echoed, the aircraft's defenses opened. In an instant, Chen Hao was caught in a terrifying pressure and energy storm. At the same time, Chen Hao placed his hands on the thick branches of the Tao Manifestation Immortal Fruit Tree. The great Tao Sanskrit rumbled as he began a new cultivation method. In the great world in Chen Hao's mind. Huff. Huff, walla, walla. At the center of the vast and enormous space, the azure blue spirit spring water had now become a vast ocean that was tens of millions of miles wide. The spiritual energy seemed to have substance as it permeated the entire space. On the land, there were mountains, rivers, forests, and lakes. Looking down from the void from afar, as long as there was water, it was as if there were meridians and blood vessels connected to the spirit spring sea. The arrangement of every blade of grass and every tree was based on the Chimen Duanjia, the 5 elements, and the 8 trigrams. This world was a real macro world, but compared to the natural macro world of stars, it had the charm of a great medium. Not to mention the celestial immortals, even the supremes of Hongmeng would treat this place as the best holy land for cultivation. Strange flowers and plants filled the mountains and rivers, giving off a strong life force and a strange fragrance of supreme-grade spirit herbs. These strange flowers and plants were all transplanted by Chen Hao from the sect ruins in the primal secret realm in the barren mountains. At the center of the core of the macro world, the Tao Manifestation Immortal Fruit Tree was rooted at the bottom of the sea and pierced through the clouds. At this moment, because the branches and leaves were in the chaotic space, its terrifying absorption and transformation ability made the vitality in Chen Hao's mind grow stronger with every passing second. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth became thicker and thicker. With the increase in vitality, the growth of the strange flowers and plants and the spirit spring sea also accelerated. Beside the Tao Manifestation Immortal Fruit Tree, the spirit spring surged. Chen Xiaoqing's snow-white naked body sat under the Tao Manifestation Immortal Fruit Tree in the spirit spring. Her long and slow breaths inhaled and exhaled the pure spiritual energy of heaven and earth. She was also surrounded by the Tao laws emitted by the Tao Manifestation Immortal Fruit Tree, entering a mysterious state of cultivation. Regardless of whether it was the speed of her comprehension of the heavenly Tao laws, her quintessential essence, or the tempering of her soul, they were all increasing at a speed several times faster than usual. This was something that Chen Xiaoqing had never dared to imagine, but now, it was happening to her. What surprised her even more was that although her master, Chen Hao, had taken her into his mind, he had not blocked her mind. On the contrary, the master-servant contract that she had voluntarily handed over was still completely open, allowing her to listen to Chen Hao's inner thoughts at all times, the Sanskrit Great Tao. This was not dual cultivation, but the master-servant contract allowed her to bathe in Chen Hao's Tao state. The benefits were undoubtedly astonishing. It's been 3 months. Why hasn't he even landed in the second macro world? No matter how he cultivates in the aircraft, can he still enter seclusion? Doesn't he know that many people are worried? In a huge aircraft, Hu Mainyang sat alone in the top-notch VIP room of the aircraft. There was a rare look of worry on her beautiful face. She had originally thought that her astonishing progress in the primitive mystic realm would allow her, the saintess, to have greater prestige and appeal in the Misty Rain Pavilion. However, when it came to Xiao Yan, the #1 family on vast universe planet, the Misty Rain Pavilion's master had chosen to remain neutral without hesitation. Although Hu Mainyang had expected this, the Misty Rain Pavilion's master's straightforwardness had deepened her understanding of the Xiao family. She could not blame the master. After all, the Misty Rain Pavilion's mission and uniqueness had always been to tread on thin ice and not offend anyone in the world. Fortunately, the Misty Rain Pavilion's master did not restrict Hu Mainyang's freedom after a deep conversation with her. Perhaps I should meet Xiao Yan, Hu Meinyang sighed inwardly. At this point, even if she did not want to admit it, she knew that Chen Hao could no longer remain as an ordinary friend in her heart. At the beginning, they had stolen treasures and hunted him down. Later, they had comprehended together and eliminated the devil fetus together. Finally, they had used each other and improved together. Then, she had been brought to proud heaven's base by the mysterious Han Mei and comprehended Chen Hao's nearly 600 years of profound Dao sounds. Most importantly, she had been raped and Chen Hao's shameless revenge. Hu Meinyang could not ignore it. No matter what kind of state of mind she had been in at the time, it had now become an indelible mark that had taken root in her body and soul. Even Hu Meinyang, who had always been ambitious, had not considered how valuable Chen Hao would be to her in the future and whether or not he would be able to get through this crisis. It had to be said that human emotions, especially those between men and women, were one of the most mysterious and unfathomable things in the world. Buzz. Thinking of this, Hu Meinyang raised the Soul Realm helmet and instantly raised her aura to the limit. In the endless rolling Dao laws, she entered the second world once again. Meinyang, I don't know what your relationship with him is, but I will prove that I, Xiao Yan, am the most suitable person to be your man and your path protector. There is no one else. I know that you must have logged into the second world. I also know that you have seen my message. 3 years ago, you promised me that if I could step into the Supreme of Hongmeng in 1,000 years, I would be qualified to be your path protector. I have been working hard. Moreover, I firmly believe that I can do it. I will defeat him with my own strength and prove it to you. Messages were stored in Hu Meinyang's information box in the second world. Beep. Beep. If I lose, I will choose to withdraw. Borrowing the reputation of the major factions and the Valley of Happiness is just an excuse for this battle. You don't have to persuade me. Even if there is no such thing, the battle between me and him is inevitable. The latest unread message made Hu Meinyang frown slightly. She even covered her mouth. After returning to the aircraft, Hu Meinyang had logged into the second world and remained invisible. She did not want to contact Xiao Yan. She was very familiar with Xiao Yan. Before entering the primitive mystic realm, she had often trained with Xiao Yan in the sacred temple. Of course, that was because Xiao Yan had deliberately flattered her and helped her cultivate. Otherwise, she and Xiao Yan would not be on the same level at that time. At that time, although Hu Meinyang would not fall in love, she would not reject any monstrous expert who deliberately approached her. A monstrous genius like Xiao Yan would not reject him either. Just like what she had said to Chen Hao back then, as long as he was a true genius, he would be within her consideration. This was the mission of the Misty Rain Pavilion Saintess. As for the promise that Xiao Yan would be qualified to be her path protector when he stepped into the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm in 1,000 years, Hu Meinyang had not only said this to Xiao Yan. However, Xiao Yan was undoubtedly the one she thought the most highly of back then. Now, after returning from the primitive mystic realm in just 6 years, she had unknowingly changed too much. It was all because of Chen Hao. In fact, this was also the reason why the Misty Rain Pavilion's master, who saw through everything, did not restrict Hu Meinyang's position. Hu Meinyang had already cultivated the Mortal Heart Sutra to the 9th stage and had some understanding of the 10th stage. However, she, who had suffered a loss once, remembered the warning left behind by the Misty Rain Pavilion's founder. For the time being, she did not dare to break through. Her control of the 7 emotions and 6 desires was already very strong. Under such circumstances, Hu Meinyang's state of mind leaned toward Chen Hao. What did that mean? The Misty Rain Pavilion knew that it was impossible to stop someone with a Khanate Dao embryo who had cultivated the Mortal Heart Sutra to such a level from falling in love. The Misty Rain Pavilion's Saintess and Misty Rain Pavilion's master with a Khanate Dao embryo were an example. What about fairness? You have cultivated for more than 1,000 years. How long has he cultivated for? Hu Meinyang murmured. She took a deep breath and directly applied for Xiao Yan's number. In the core area of vast Universe City, in a bustling area adjacent to the temple, Xiao Yan was sitting cross-legged in a huge manner. He was immersed in the state of thoughtless tranquility, comprehending the mysteries of heaven and earth as me, and I as heaven and earth. No cultivator would be willing to be interrupted in such a state. Under normal circumstances, they would not give others the chance to interrupt them. However, the wisp of Xiao Yan's divine sense that was immersed in the second world suddenly opened its eyes. Its eyes flashed with excitement. What was even more exaggerated was that even his true body outside the second world did not hesitate to withdraw from the state of cultivation. His mind instantly integrated into the second world. Mainyang. Chapter 879. Xiao Yan's eyes shone brightly as he stared at Hu Mainyang in the video. He couldn't hide the excitement on his face, but Hu Mainyang's words caused his expression to change. Brother Xiao Yan, Mainyang wants to spar with you. Is that okay? Hu Mainyang smiled. She was still charming and seductive, but her tone and voice were not as natural as before. Xiao Yan could not feel the slightest hint of a smile, only coldness. Mainyang. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and said, "Are you trying to test me on his behalf?" "You don't dare." It seems that I underestimated your relationship with him. I just want to know, is your promise from back then still valid? Mainyang said it before, of course it's valid. It's just qualification. Brother Xiao Yan, you've cultivated for more than 1,000 years, and how long has Qinhao been cultivating? Is this your so-called fair fight? No matter what the result is, you've already lost. Don't say that the Happy Valley is just an excuse. You're doing it for their high reward, right? You're in the peak realm, and you can step into the ranks of Daluo Jingxian at any time. You want to have a life-and-death battle with someone who just came out of the primitive mystic realm, who hasn't had time to consolidate his cultivation, and who has cultivated for less than 1/10 of your time. You're the #1 heaven immortal in the vast universe galaxy. Hee. Mainyang finds it funny. I look down on people like you. Chi. After Hu Mainyang finished speaking, she cut off the connection. Her cold and sharp words revealed her disdain for Xiao Yan in the slightest. Xiao Yan, who was excited and hot-blooded, thought that Hu Mainyang must have contacted him because her relationship with Qinhao was not as good as he had imagined. Suddenly, he felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over his head. He was speechless for a long time, and only his expression became more and more gloomy and violent. Ah! Chi. Boom boom boom, boom boom boom, humph, no one can change what I, Xiao Yan, want to do or decide on. You, Hu Mainyang, are just a woman I want to conquer. Sooner or later, you'll become my woman. A heartless actress. Bitch. Ah. Boom boom boom. You dare to provoke me for a man. Chi. The violent energy did not contain any divine ability, but it caused the incomparably strong cultivation room to shake and the innumerable protective runes to crack. I shouldn't be like this. What Xiao Yan didn't expect was that after leaving the second world, Hu Mainyang's complexion became one of self-blame. Why did you lose your cool? Hu Mainyang patted her forehead. When he left, Xiao Yan's crazed eyes and violent aura made Hu Mainyang feel great danger even though it was just an image. At the same time, Hu Mainyang came to her senses and realized that she had overreached herself. Without a doubt, this would make Qinhao suffer even more from Xiao Yan's crazy flames of war. She wanted to help Qinhao, but now, love blinded one's wisdom. However, if Hu Mainyang was given another chance, she would at most not contact Xiao Yan. Even if she did, she would still say the same thing. If the Misty Rain Pavilion's holy daughter wanted to be smooth and slick, she would always be able to do so. She could not show her emotions on her face. However, the disguise of a mask was sometimes impossible to achieve, Master. We have arrived at the space barrier near Golden Light City on the Yang planet. Just before Hu Mainyang contacted Xiao Yan, a strangely shaped aircraft, which looked like a round disc carrying a towering tree, broke through layers of space storms at a terrifying speed in the chaotic space and came to an abrupt stop. Treasure Hunter's sword spirit said to Qin Hao telepathically, "Master, I have refined 8 pills according to your request." Old God also diverted some of his attention and said, Old God, you are far from enough. Continue." Swish. As he spoke, Old God's body returned to Qin Hao's mind. Qin Hao tore the void with his palms and the powerful space barrier was easily torn apart. Qin Hao stepped into the world of the Yang planet. It's been 10 years. I, Qin Hao, am back. There are only 6 months left. Qin Hao, who was at the peak of the late-stage Heaven Immortal stage, took a deep breath and looked down at the vast world of the Yang planet. He had arrived at the Yang planet 3 months in advance. The fleet returning from the primitive mystic realm would only arrive at the vast universe galaxy after 3 months. The aircraft from East Flow City would naturally arrive at East Flow City first, and it would take about 3 months to reach the Yang planet. In other words, Qin Hao had 6 months to act in secret. Chen Nan, Qin Yan, Hu Yin Albua, and the others, as well as Moue, Dongfeng Jian, Xiao Mei, Li Xiaoling, and the others who were still on the Wuji planet, had all mysteriously disappeared. Qin Hao was 100% sure that he was the cause. It went without saying who did it. Now, 3 months had passed. Although Qin Hao concluded that the other party was using them to threaten him, at least they should have taken action after the fleet returned to the vast universe galaxy. But now, Qin Hao could not be sure whether they had been humiliated or not. The shape-shifting ring, the great shape-shifting technique, the unique skills of spirit cultivation, the carving technique. As long as I act carefully, I believe that even the Supreme of Hongmeng won't be able to discover me if he doesn't deliberately take precautions. If anything happens to any of them, sooner or later, I'll make you regret being born in this world. Qi. Qin Hao, who had completely concealed his aura, flew directly toward Golden Light City like a gust of wind. Fellow cultivator, welcome to Golden Light City. Please show me your wealth card. Thank you. When the disguised Qin Hao appeared at the majestic city gate of Golden Light City, the law enforcement officers of the Alliance guarding the city gate immediately greeted him with smiles on their faces. Although Qin Hao was only at the peak of the advanced stage of the Earth's celestial stage, his aura was extremely strong and his appearance was very young. For a small city like the Yang planet, such a figure was definitely a rare genius. Qin Hao prepared a wealth card with the same appearance and information as the one he was now and handed it to the guard. Vast Universe Star, Black Rock City. Mr. Do, please. Golden Light City welcomes you. After reading the information on the wealth card, the guard immediately became more respectful. A genius of the Vast Universe Star. Although it was only the identity of a small city on the Vast Universe Star, it was something that many cultivators could not obtain in their lifetime. Thank you, Qin Hao said with a smile, not caring about the guard's snobbish attitude. Status, and strength determined the kind of courtesy one would receive. This was the same whether in the secular world or the world of cultivation. Stepping out of the city, Qin Hao seemed to move slowly but was actually very fast. In an instant, he disappeared from the guard's gaze. People from the Vast Universe Star. Captain, do you think they're here to cause trouble for the Wuji Star? After watching Qin Hao disappear, a soldier walked up to the guard who had just received Qin Hao and asked in a low voice. Should be. During this time, many cultivators from the Vast Universe Star have come over. If not for the Wuji Star, who would come to our barren little city? That young man just now is not simple. He's at the peak of the advanced stage of the Earth's celestial stage at such a young age and his aura is very strong. I feel that he's comparable to a celestial immortal. People from big places are really powerful. Oh, no wonder you're so polite, Captain. I knew it, he's just an Earth immortal from the Vast Universe Star. We've seen a lot of sky immortals from the Vast Universe Star. Happy Valley is really something now. 2 years ago, When he saw that Qin Hao from the Limitless Star was at the top of the human rankings, he put down his pride and came to make friends with the Limitless Star. At that time, he even said that the 10-year duel with Qin Hao was just a formality. It's better to squash enmity than to keep it alive. The Wuji stars Lu Qingyang, Guan Nanchao, and the others were all happy. Now that Happy Valley suddenly had a strong backing, they turned their backs on them. The Wuji star was dumbfounded. But, Captain, I feel that this scene will definitely cause a sensation in the entire vast universe star system. Nonsense, do you even need to feel it? Even an idiot could see that the Wuji star's Qin Hao was known as the killing god Qin Hao. He was invincible in the 10 major galaxies of the primal mystic realm. He was the top genius of the 10 major galaxies. Of course, compared to the number 1 sky immortal in the vast universe star system, Xiao Yan, who had cultivated for more than 1,000 years, he was still no match. It was said that Xiao Yan had the strength to kill the late-stage Daluo Jingxian. In any case, the life and death battle between the two would cause a sensation. Not to mention, the killing god Qin Hao had established the proud Heaven's Legion. There were many geniuses supporting him, and many powerful backgrounds behind him would not sit idly by. The Happy Valley's side was also very strong, and they had invited Xiao Yan, the number 1 family in the vast universe star system. It would be strange if it didn't cause a sensation. Damn it, I really want to go to Mysterious Heaven City now. Captain, take me with you. Go go go, I don't even know if I can go. Qin Hao's soul perception was abnormal. Although he was thousands of miles away, the conversation between the two guards was clearly heard by him. This also made him certain that his choice to go to the Wuji Stars station in Golden Light City was undoubtedly the right choice. Chi. After quickly walking to a deserted corner, Qin Hao directly turned into a gust of wind. After 10 minutes, he appeared near the Wuji Stars station. He had merged with everything in the world, and with the concealment of the spirit cultivation technique and the concealment of the appearance-changing ring, even the masters of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm would not be able to detect the slightest abnormality even if they searched with all their might. Gusts of wind blew, and every movement within thousands of miles of the Wuji Stars station appeared clearly in Qin Hao's mind. Without any effort, he locked onto the auras of dozens of Sky Immortal experts. These Sky Immortal cultivators did not even hide their auras. There were men and women, and they were unscrupulous and fearless. They occupied a place in 2s and 3s, drinking and bragging. These two should be the leaders. Soon, Qin Hao locked onto the two with the strongest auras, who were surrounded by several young girls. They were 2 middle-aged men in the late stage of the Sky Immortal realm. They looked to be in their 30s, which was enough to prove that they had stepped into the Sky Immortal realm much earlier than ordinary cultivators. They were definitely top geniuses in the Asianing planet. Chapter 880. These cowards, not a single one of them dares to come out. I was still preparing to catch 2 beauties from planet Wuji, damn it. Ha! Master Bin, there are so many people accompanying you, isn't that enough? Shoo shoo shoo, I can't accept your Happy Valley's cultivation methods. Furthermore, I like the primordialine body, Master Bin, you can't say it like that. It's a matter of love between a man and a woman, so why keep thinking about cultivation? It's good to relax your mind. We are all elites handpicked by the Valley Master, we know how to make a man feel better than any woman. Ha! Brother Bin, why don't we give it a try? Fine, if you want to try, go ahead and try. Take them all. I've taken a fancy to those beauties on the Wuji Star. Fuck, I've never imagined that the Wuji Star, a barren planet, could be so full of beauties. Moreover, they're so talented. After we kill Qin Hao, the Wuji Star will be ours. By then, we have to fight for the task of taking over the Wuji Star. No matter what, we have to get dozens of female slaves. Are you exaggerating, brother? We've been here for half a month and we haven't seen many beauties entering or leaving planet Wuji. Ha! That's because you haven't seen the dozens of girls that Uncle Zhijing caught on the Wuji planet. TSK TSK. Not to mention me, even my uncles were envious of them. It's a pity that they didn't dare to ask Uncle Zhijing for them. Furthermore, the 3 girls who are related to killer god Chen Hao are even more beautiful. Master Bin, haha, don't be angry. It's not that you guys are too bad, it's that they are too beautiful. Most importantly, they have the primordial Yin body. I'm a clean freak, women can only be private property. I don't like sharing. Sorry, Brother Yen likes them. Alright. Brother Bin, I won't stand on ceremony then. Anyway, I'm just giving them some trouble. Killer god Chen Hao will only be back in half a year. There's no need to keep guarding here. Go go go, follow me. I'll let you guys have fun. Brother Bin, I'll have to trouble you here. Go ahead, there's no trouble. I can do whatever I want in planet Wuji alone. Alright, beast. Chen Hao had been here for 4 hours. If he attacked, he could easily kill everyone present. But he couldn't. What he needed to do now was to obtain as much information as possible and capture one of the 2 leaders alive. From the looks of it, this leader known as Brother Bin was undoubtedly the best candidate. Moreover, the opportunity had come. Hiss. An imperceptible breeze drifted towards Brother Bin. Achoo. Fuck, could it be that Uncle Zhijing, that old pervert, knows that I'm coveting the girl he caught? Big Brother Bin sneezed for no reason as he shook his head and said. Soon after, he lazily laid on the ground and closed his eyes, revealing a lustful expression. In his mind, he recalled the dozens of beautiful girls of the everlasting star that he caught a glimpse of. I must have dozens, hundreds. Ah, Brother Bin, who was still immersed in his fantasy, suddenly widened his eyes in horror. He wanted to scream, but he stopped abruptly. He watched as his physical body was crushed into meat paste by a horrifying force and pressure that he couldn't resist at all. His primordial spirit was bound by countless spiritual force and pressure and entered between the eyebrows of a young man. He saw the young man's face. It was a pair of horrifying eyes that were like the vast and deep night sky and also like a black hole filled with endless whirlpools and horrifying devouring forces. Ah! In just an instant, his primordial spirit entered a vast and boundless big world. At this moment, he screamed in horror. Who are you? I'm a direct descendant of the Bai family in vast universe galaxy. How dare you kill? Buzz! Before he could finish his sentence, a resplendent light directly bound his primordial spirit. At the same time, Master Bin felt his soul palace tremble. A soul that was many times stronger than him had attacked his soul palace. Immediately, his soul couldn't resist at all. All of his thoughts were imprisoned. Gradually, all of his consciousness disappeared and he fell into endless darkness. He knew that he was done for. His soul was devoured and his body and soul were destroyed. If he had a choice, he would rather leave with his brothers and play with the broken shoes that he had no interest in. But now, it was too late. He didn't even know who killed him. He could only confirm that it was definitely an expert from the Daluo Golden Wonderland, Qi. His figure shook as he activated the great teleportation technique. In a flash, Chen Hao disappeared from where he was. When he reappeared, he had transformed into a gust of wind and arrived behind the cultivator and the woman from the Valley of Happiness who had just left. With a single thought, he quietly left an imprint on the cultivator's body. Then, Chen Hao went directly to a nearby restaurant. After going through the procedures, Chen Hao entered the cultivation room and sat down cross-legged. He began to organize the memories in Brother Bin's soul. At the same time, Brother Bin's body that was turned into meat paste also began to condense under the old god's consciousness. After a short half an hour, Chen Hao opened his eyes. Beast! The strong preys on the weak. The strong preys on the weak. What are the rules? Unscrupulous. This is the top family in the vast universe galaxy. If they are all like this, then I, Chen Hao, will kill them all one day. Trash. After completely digesting the memories of Master Bin, whose real name was Bai Xiao Bin, Qin Hao was furious. Qin Hao was not a good person and had no interest in so-called justice. But he was still an earthling. No matter how much he changed, he still had basic morals. This was also the principle that he unconsciously followed from the beginning. Bai family. They should all be in the Bai family. I hope nothing will happen. Crack crack crack, Qin Hao clenched his fists and said coldly. In Bai Xiaobin's memories, Qin Hao saw that several Daluo Jinxian of the Bai family had gone to the Wuji Star and captured all the people who were directly or indirectly related to Qin Hao, including the talented girls who had nothing to do with him. The number of people he had captured was much more than what he had gotten from his eldest brother, Gu Chen. Moue, Dongfang Jian, Xiao Mei, Xiao Ling, Yang Fan, Li Feng, Ni Jianping, But Face, Xiao Jishan, Xiao Jiyan, and even Dongfang Ting, Xia Lanlan, and Duan Yufei who were still in the east continent of the Wuji Star. These were the young people who had a good relationship with Qin Hao in the east continent. As for Qin Nan, Qin Yan, and Huyan Albua, Bai Xiaobin only knew that they had been captured by the powerhouses of the Wan family, which belonged to the four mad dragons. However, they should be locked up in the headquarters of the Happy Valley in the Xiantian city of the Yang Star. The only thing that comforted Qin Hao was that in Bai Xiaobin's memories, he had heard from Bai Zhijing that no one could touch those who were related to Qin Hao for the time being. Those were the bargaining chips to force Qin Hao to participate in the battle. Physical pain could be endured, but humiliation could not be. Bai Xiaobin is actually Bai Yan's uncle. Although his talent was average in the Bai family, his status was extremely high. It's a pity that Bai Yan died in my hands. However, his identity is enough for me to sneak into the Happy Valley for the time being. Qi. Qin Hao's mind moved and immediately opened the door of the cultivation room. At the same time, he took out a blood-red pill and swallowed it. Immediately, his body flickered. When the light disappeared, Qin Hao had turned into Bai Xiaobin's appearance, and his bloodline and aura were exactly the same. Even the people who were most familiar with him would not be able to detect the abnormality. If the soul residence is intact, there won't be a problem with the longevity token. The Bai family definitely won't be able to detect it. It's also in this hotel. It saves me a lot of trouble. Qin Hao caught the mark left on another cultivator, Bai Xiaohua, and easily locked onto his position. He directly merged into all things in the world and stepped out of the hotel first. Then, he swaggered in. Sir, do you need to stay in the hotel? When the waiter at the front desk saw Qin Hao, he immediately trotted out to welcome him and asked respectfully. This hotel was just a small hotel. It was rare to be able to accommodate a heavenly immortal realm expert. The person who came had an imposing appearance. At a glance, it was obvious that he had recently appeared nearby and came from a big place. My cousin is here, right? Swoosh. As Qin Hao spoke, he waved his hand and condensed an image in front of the waiter. Then, he said, let him see me. Okay, sir. Please wait a moment. I'll go and report this. Brother Bin, can't hold it in anymore. The disciples of Happy Valley are really not ordinary. Let's have some fun together. You can have your fun. I'm here to tell you not to act rashly for the time being. I just received news that the top sects that God of Slaughter Qin Hao's proud heaven members belong to have also sent people to planet Wuji. For the time being, no matter what you do, don't overdo it. I'm going to Xiantian City. Ah. Brother Bin, why are you going to Xiantian City? The female disciples of Happy Valley are fun. Since I'm not going to dual cultivate with them, I'm going to ask for a few primordial in body. Don't worry, I'll get you too. Hee hee. Brother Bin, you're really something. Thanks in advance. I'm going. Qin Hao patted Bai Xiaohua's shoulder. With a flash of his body, he quickly left. Not long after, Qinhao walked out of the Xiantian City Alliance's teleportation center and took the Xiantian City's internal teleportation formation to Happy Valley. The Valley Master of Happy Valley only has a few Daluo Jingxian. But the Bai family has 3 Hongmeng Supremes and the Wan family also has 3. The Everlasting Sect doesn't seem to be involved. It should be because of Bai Ningbing's relationship with me. They're quite generous. Chen Lin and the other geniuses that I killed were only cooperating with me. They didn't do much for the time being. The 6 Hongmeng Supremes might not be able to do anything to you, but they should be able to make you cough up some blood. Chen Hao thought to himself as he arrived at the entrance of a fairyland in Xiantian City. After going through the primitive secret realm, he didn't feel anything when he looked at this fairyland-like valley. It was worlds apart from his mental world. Senior Bai. Hello, Senior Bai. As Chen Hao slowed down and slowly walked forwards, several young disciples standing guard at the entrance of Happy Valley immediately bowed. As for the female disciples, their eyes were filled with flirtatious looks. They wished that this Bai Xiaobin from a top family in the vast universe galaxy would immediately take advantage of them. Chapter 881. What a despicable sect. Chen Hao nodded proudly, but he was cursing the Valley of Happiness in his heart. In the Valley of Happiness, 6 old men sat cross-legged on 6 towering mountains in 6 directions. Their entire bodies seemed to have merged into one with heaven and earth. Endless laws of Tao churned in the void, and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered on its own. Immortal light lingered around them. Within 100 miles of these 6 mountains, countless young disciples of the Valley of Happiness were scattered in pairs in the pavilions and flower beds. Some were cultivating naked under the sun, while others were sitting cross-legged to comprehend and cultivate. They were all bathed in the immortal light of the 6 mountains. Without a doubt, this was a rare cultivation opportunity for the disciples of the Valley of Happiness. Obviously, these 6 mountains were the meditation places that the 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm experts of the Bai family and the Wan family had casually condensed. They were independent of each other, but they occupied 6 positions and guarded the core area of the Valley of Happiness. However, at this time, the 6 experts were obviously immersed in their own bitter meditation and did not pay much attention to the situation in the Valley of Happiness. God of Slaughter Chen Hao had not returned, and what they were doing was a secret operation. Even if the Wuji planet found out, no one would dare to come to the Valley of Happiness to ask for him. Chen Hao slightly restrained his aura and walked straight to the palace that the Valley of Happiness had arranged for Daluo Jingxian and Bai Zhijing. Come, brother Bai, let me toast you. Let's agree on this matter. We 4 brothers have no problem fighting for the Wan family. It's up to you. Ha, don't worry. When the time comes, as long as our Bai family gets it, I will be able to fight for it. When the time comes, the 5 of us will split it according to the ratio we agreed on. That's good. Drink. In the hall of Bai Zhijing's palace, not only had the restrictions of the palace been completely activated, but the 5 of them had also joined forces to condense a powerful seal. They were drinking wine and eating the exquisite food provided by the Valley of Happiness. Other than Bai Zhijing and a group of quadruplets from the Wan family, there was no one else. The 4 members of the Wan family, like Bai Zhijing, were the people in charge of this trip to the Asianing planet, second only to the family's Hongmeng Supreme. The experts of the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm would not care about miscellaneous matters. To put it bluntly, they were basically the people in charge. Today, Bai Zhijing had specially invited the 4 of them for a small gathering. She had no choice but to do so considering that Wuji planet might belong to the Wan family in the future. He tried to rope in the 4 brothers in advance, telling the 4 brothers of the Wan clan about the Wuji star producing beautiful girls and cooperating with them. If that was the case, he would definitely not be able to obtain the Wuji star by himself. However, if the Wan clan obtained it, as long as the 4 of them obtained it, then according to their agreement, he would be able to obtain a 5th of it. As for the Bai clan, even if they managed to obtain it, they would still have to share 1/5 of it with the 4 brothers of the Wan clan. It was enough to satisfy his needs. Brother Bai, since you've said so much, why don't you call out the little beauty you've caught so that we can verify her? Ha! Of course. However, I have only tamed 6 of them for the time being. As for the others, I will give them some time. If they don't obey, then I will have to use force. Chi. As Bai Zhijing spoke, he pointed with his finger, and the door of the cultivation room immediately opened. Clap, clap, Mimi, the 6 of you come out first. Yes, master. 6 girls in the creation realm, who were completely in the low martial realm to Bai Zhijing and the others, walked out quickly. They had extremely young life auras, and their graceful bodies were faintly discernible under the silk veil. They were either delicate and beautiful, or charming and moving. Although they were not on the same level as Qin Shui and the others, any one of them could be considered a rare beauty in the cultivation world. The only flaw was that their cultivation realms were too low. The 6 girls lowered their heads and clenched their fists tightly. They were obviously very nervous. He he he. Brother Wan, take a look. What do you think? Her appearance and figure are not bad. TSK, Brother Bai, you're really something. These clothes make me restless. The eldest of the 4 people of the Wan clan said excitedly as he looked at the slightly protruding pink and tender breasts under the translucent veil and the fragrant black thicket. Ha! Since they are being raised as female slaves, they naturally have to learn some flirtatious manners. However, they are not just good-looking and good-looking. Carefully sense their auras. They are very young. Chi. As the leader of the Wan family spoke, 6 rays of golden light suddenly bloomed from between his brows and pressed down on the 6 girls. Ah, plop! Plop! The 6 girls immediately cried out in alarm and fell to the ground with terrified expressions. They looked at the leader of the Wan family in fear. Immediately, they felt the increasing pressure and fainted one after another. TSK. Amazing. The talent and potential of these girls are not bad, but they can only be said to be not bad. Their potential is still too far away from ours. It's not a problem for them to be female slaves and have fun. If it were that simple, I wouldn't be so determined to get the Wuji star. Oh. Is there something special about it? Of course. However, it's normal that Brother Wan can't see it. You have never been to the Wuji star, so you don't know the situation of the Wuji star at all. The heaven and earth spirit chi on that planet is barren. At least, I have never seen a planet that is so poor. More importantly, the cultivators on the Wuji star are too poor. Most of them don't even know what immortal origin crystals are. Not to mention heaven and earth spirit objects, spirit medicine, and other cultivation resources. It can be said that they almost relied on their own cultivation to raise their cultivation level step by step. Such people, not to mention providing them with sufficient spirit medicine, even if they were placed in Xiantian City, their cultivation speed would increase by several times. Their potential is definitely much greater than what we imagined. I see. No wonder. No wonder Brother Bai would rather tell us and reach an agreement with us to ensure that we won't fail. Good. Very good. Very good. In that case, it's not only the beauties on the Wuji star that are wealth. Yes, if we don't tell anyone about this secret. If we secretly raise the cultivators on the Wuji star. TSK, in just a few hundred years, or even 100 years, we will be able to obtain many geniuses that are above average. If we are lucky, we can obtain a few super geniuses, then our status and speaking rights will be even stronger. Very good, very good. I was wondering, how could a small Wuji star give birth to such an indescribable genius like the god of slaughter Chen Hao? Completely correct. When I first went to capture people related to Chen Hao, I was curious and purposely stayed for a few more days before discovering this secret. As long as there are people related to Chen Hao, they have already obtained the full support and training of Limitless Star. With their age, cultivation, and auras, any one of them would be considered outstanding even on Vast Universe Star. After I investigated, I found out that these people were very ordinary before. No matter how strong Chinhao's providence was, it shouldn't have such a big impact on them. After that, I captured many people to investigate and experiment on, then discovered this secret. Brother Bai, I'll be frank with you. I didn't care much before, but now, I'm sure that this is our opportunity. Other than the 5 of us, we can't reveal this to anyone else. Especially those who are stronger than us. Otherwise, I'm afraid we won't be able to fight for the ownership of the Wuji Star. Of course. Dong dong dong, Uncle Zijing. At this moment, there was a knock on the door and a shout from outside the palace. Little Bin. Why is this kid back at this time? Bai Zijing frowned and thought to herself. Then, she waved her hand and sent the 6 girls into the cultivation room. She said, Brother Wan, this is my nephew and also the uncle of the number 1 genius of our Bai family, Bai Yan. Bai Yan is dead, but Bai Yan's father is also very strong. This kid outside the door has a high status in the Bai family. I brought him to the Wuji Star encampment in Golden Light City because I was afraid that this kid would find out something. I'll deal with him first. In fact, there was no need for Bai Xiaobin and the others to go to Golden Light City. The reason why Bai Zijing sent them away was that she was afraid that Bai Xiaobin would ask her for these girls from the Wuji Star. At that time, she would not be able to give them to him. No problem. Ha! We're just drinking and reminiscing about the past. Ha! Bai Zijing laughed heartily and then waved her hand to open the restriction. Xiaobin, didn't I ask you to guard the Wuji Star? Why are you back? Uncle, don't mention it. The cultivators of the Wuji Star are like cowards. After knowing that we are looking for trouble outside, they don't even dare to come out. It's really boring there. Ah. Junior Bai Xiaobin pays his respects to the 4 uncles Wan. Chen Hao pretended to be surprised and hurriedly bowed. He didn't even call them senior and directly called them uncle intimately. There's no need to be so polite, Xiaobin. The 4 brothers of the Wan family smiled slightly. This kid knew how to curry favor and was very likable. He waved his hand and sent out a gentle energy, directly helping Chen Hao up. Thank you, Uncle Wan. Chen Hao said. After that, he looked at Bai Zijing and said, Uncle, are you drinking? I have something. I want to talk to you alone. However, Uncle Wan is not an outsider, and this matter, hee. I should be able to help Uncle Wan. Oh. You are only in the heaven immortal realm. How can you help Uncle Wan? Tell me, what's the matter? Get lost after you're done. Don't disturb Uncle's drinking. Bai Zijing scolded with a smile. After that, she looked at the 4 brothers of the Wan family and said, Brother Wan, don't mind him. Xiaobin is just too friendly and doesn't know how to be polite. No, I think this kid is a rare person. Ha. Hee. Uncle, this time, I'm not bragging. I have to say, as long as it's done, the benefits will be huge, don't keep us in suspense. If you have something to say it quickly. Alright. Didn't we get the news that Chen Hao has mastered many legendary lost techniques? Especially his concealment skills are even more amazing. Yes. So what? Chapter 882. Lately, I've been quite bored, so I've collected some information about Chen Hao. His friends on the Wuji planet have all received his guidance, and he has taught them some of his strongest moves. Especially his younger brother and sister, they cultivated a complementary Dao unique skill. When they work together, they are quite powerful. Also, they have unlimited potential to evolve. Similarly, they also know Chen Hao's concealment unique skill, but their cultivation level is lower. How do you know they will? I got it from a spineless guy on the Wuji Star. Kid, are you going to force them to tell you the secret? Uncle, can't I? Of course not. Those I caught have just become human deities, but they are all very stubborn. It's impossible to get anything out of them. As for those controlled by Brother Wan's family, don't even think about it. These are all closely related to Qin Hao. Our family has told us that these are the bargaining chips to threaten Qin Hao to come here. We can't act recklessly. If we want to act recklessly, we have to wait until Qin Hao comes back. Uncle, you are not suitable to act recklessly because of your status, but I am different. Bai Yan is my nephew. I am still waiting for him to raise the status of our family, but he was killed by Qin Hao. I can't take this lying down. I have plenty of ways to deal with women, especially young girls. As long as I can vent my anger, I am not afraid of losing face. Moreover, even if I do something extreme, it is reasonable. The family will punish me at most. Maybe we can even get Qin Hao's unique skill. If we get his concealment unique skill, you and the 4 uncles one can definitely increase your combat power by several times. After all, you just want to sleep with those beautiful young girls. Don't think I don't know your hobby. Ahem. Uncle, I am serious. Concealment unique skill. It is absolutely powerful. Brother Bai, I think Xiao Bin is right. As long as we don't do anything extreme, it will be fine. If we can get Qin Hao's concealment unique skill, we will really make a profit. The eldest of the Wan clan's 4 brothers frowned slightly. Then, a bright light flashed in his eyes as he said, that concealment technique can be used by experts 1 level higher. No one can detect it. If we obtain it, we can even deal with the average Hongmeng Supreme. That's true. But after all, your Wan clan, our Bai clan, and the leaders of the other major powers have made an agreement that we can't act recklessly. I'm afraid that Xiao Bin will be in danger. It won't be as simple as punishment, Bai Zhijing said. Although he didn't care about Bai Xiaobin's life or death, he was now the steward. If he allowed it, Bai Xiaobin's brother, who was also Bai Yan's father, would blame him. Even his uncle's generation would be suppressed. Therefore, he had no choice but to speak the truth. Ha, Brother Bai, as long as we fail, no one will know. But if we succeed, it will be a great merit. If you fail, you won't say a word, we won't say a word, and no one can blame Xiao Bin. The premise is that you can't really do it, Xiao Bin. Just use all means to threaten and torture. You're right, Uncle Wan. I guarantee that I can do it. Alright, since Brother Wan also supports it, then Xiao Bin will give it a try. I'm warning you, if something really happens, don't blame me for not warning you. Qin Hao's background is far stronger than you think. To put it bluntly, the Wan clan and our Bai clan are only nominal leaders. Ah. Uncle, do you mean? Qin Hao's background could be an important figure in the Holy Temple. Qin Hao pretended to be surprised. In fact, he had long guessed that his father's identity was definitely an important figure in the Holy Temple. However, he didn't know exactly how important it was. But now, Bai Zhijing's words let him know that it was definitely in existence that could contend with the Xiao clan, the #1 aristocratic family. It's good that you know. This is also the reason why we were strictly ordered not to act recklessly. I understand. Let's go, Brother Bai. Let's bring Xiao Bin over first. We'll continue drinking when we come back. All right. Bai Zhijing said helplessly. However, she cursed the 4 people of the Wan clan in her heart. Obviously, Bai Xiaobin's life and death had nothing to do with them. If they succeeded, they would take advantage of them. If they failed, as long as nothing major happened, no one would know. If something major happened, they would only be slightly implicated. Anyway, it wasn't their Wan clan who did it. However, Bai Zhijing did yearn for Qin Hao's concealment technique. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed. Wait, uncle, didn't you capture dozens of little beauties from Wuji planet? Lend them to me. What are you going to do? Don't worry, uncle. I'm just using them to threaten Qin Hao. As the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. God of slaughter Qin Hao is very loyal. those who believe in him won't be too bad. It should be effective. You brat. I'll lend you a few. Uncle, all of them. The more people there are, the more imposing they will be. If there are too few people, they might give up. Don't worry, it won't take many. If they want to submit, they will submit. If they don't submit, they can only do it to them. That's good too. I didn't realize that you're getting smarter and smarter. Chi. Bai Zhijing opened the door of the cultivation room and directly sent out dozens of extremely powerful forces to bind dozens of girls. Even the 6 who had already submitted to her tyrannical power were no exception. Later, these 6 will go first. They will cooperate with you. Okay. Uncle, please. Uncle Wan, please. Chen Hao bowed and said. After the 5 of them stepped out of the palace with the girls who had been bound, Chen Hao was the last to leave Bai Zhijing's palace. No one saw that the moment Chen Hao left, an object the size of a human head entered Bai Zhijing's cultivation room. Uncle Wan, the 6 elders won't notice, right? No. They won't. The 6 elders are all sitting in meditation. The supreme being of Hongmeng is under much more pressure than us now. Yes. The cultivation world is like this. When you don't have a goal to chase, you will relax. Now, the temple master Chen Wuliang, who has been in seclusion for many years, and his sisters have all succeeded in cutting their paths. All the experts of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm see hope and also feel pressure. That's right. Our operation this time might be the Shao family's test. And Chen Hao is almost certain that he is the son of Chen Wuliang in his reincarnation. Brother Wan, seriously. I feel that this operation is a little strange. The Shao family is indeed the #1 aristocratic family in the vast universe galaxy. It can be said that they occupy half of the vast universe galaxy, but to fight against Chen Wuliang, I'm afraid. Hee, Brother Bai. Since your family master and our family master are willing to do this, they must be confident. The masters of the vast universe galaxy have changed again and again, but the #1 aristocratic family of the Shao family has not fallen for hundreds of millions of years. How deep their foundation is not something we can measure. It can be said that without the Shao family, there would not be the stability of the vast universe galaxy today. Chen Wuliang has disappeared for so many years. Look at the other galaxies. Which one of them has made a move against us? Isn't it because of the Shao family's deterrence? That's true, Chen Hao only asked one question. He did not expect Bai Zhijing and the 4 brothers of the Wan family to throw out such explosive news. It surprised Chen Hao. Uncle, the 3 of them succeeded in cutting their paths. When did this news come out? Why haven't I heard of it at all? You're just a heaven immortal. Don't worry about these things. I'm curious. Uncle, tell me. I won't bite off more than I can chew. I know my talent. You brat. This happened more than 3 years ago. At that time, Chen Wuliang and his sisters, Han Mei and Xue Mei, cut their paths at almost the same time. The world was in turmoil. Even when they entered the chaotic space, our universe fluctuated greatly. However, only Daluo Jingxian and the experts of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm knew what had happened. Now, the 3 of them were still immersed in the comprehension and consolidation of their realms. In the past 3 years, the Hongmeng Supremes of the other 9 galaxies had also taken the risk to cut their paths. Many old fellows had appeared. In our vast universe galaxy, the Supreme Elders of the various top forces had also taken action. Although I don't know who it is, I'm sure that there are a few people in the Shao family. That's for sure. There's nothing to say about the Shao family's foundation. But without a cutting path expert, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to take action now, said the eldest of the 4 brothers of the Wan family. That's right. From the small secular countries to the large vast universe galaxy and even the entire universe, opportunities and luck have always been balanced. No one can control a region with the strength of a single person. The balance has always existed. Cutting path, true immortal. Sigh, it's already not bad if we can reach Hongmeng's supremacy in this lifetime. As they spoke, Bai Zhijing and the four brothers of the Wan family brought Qin Hao to the core palace of the Happy Valley. At this moment, they were already the masters of the Happy Valley. The core palace of the Happy Valley's Valley Master had also been requisitioned and became a forbidden area to imprison Chen Nan, Chen Yen, and the others. Moreover, it had been sealed by the 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm experts. No one could secretly break it. This was also the reason why Qin Hao did not dare to act rashly. Xiaobin, after these people are sent in, you stay inside and keep an eye on them. It's best if you can get something out of them, but it doesn't matter if you can't. Anyway, you have nothing to do, so don't act rashly, understand? When they arrived at the entrance of the palace, Bai Zhijing suddenly said loudly. Obviously, she was talking to the 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm experts. There were restrictions left behind by them here. Even if they were in bitter meditation, they would still be able to sense it. It was just a matter of whether they should pay attention to it or not. Don't worry, uncle. I know my limits. Okay, go in. If there's a situation, send us a message. Brother Wan, please. Okay. Chi. Bai Zhijing and the eldest of the 4 brothers of the Wan family took out a token at the same time. When the 2 tokens combined, they immediately emitted a bright and mysterious light that entered the runes on the door. Then, the door opened with a rumble. If Qin Hao wanted to rely on his own strength to break through the complex and profound runes, it was simply impossible. The gap between their realms and strength was simply too great. This also made Qin Hao rejoice that he did not act rashly. And now, it seemed that Bai Zhijing and the 4 brothers of the Wan family were afraid of bearing the responsibility, so they would not even enter. Otherwise, they would not have said these words on purpose. This was exactly what Qin Hao wanted. Chapter 883. Qin Hao waved his hand and sent out a stream of energy. He took the dozens of girls from Bai Zhijing's hands and stepped into the core palace. Chi. The moment they entered, Bai Zhijing and the leader of the Wan family put away their tokens at the same time. The palace door closed, and the powerful restriction was activated again. Buzz. When Qin Hao saw the familiar and slightly unfamiliar faces in the palace, he saw the black chains covered in runes piercing through the collarbones, as if they were beasts, tying up his brothers and sisters. The anger that Qin Hao suppressed in the depths of his heart instantly erupted like a volcano, and hot blood rushed to his head. A boundless murderous aura was unleashed. Whoosh! At this moment, the huge palace was immediately filled with a cold pressure, and the temperature plummeted. One by one, the figures who were sitting cross-legged and resisting the double torture of their bodies and minds immediately opened their eyes and looked at Qin Hao. There was no fear or even emotion, but each of their eyes was filled with determination. There was no exception. The more it was like this, the more painful Qin Hao's heart was. It was even more painful than when he endured the extreme path inheritance and the heavenly punishment that attracted the wrath of the heavens. It was a heart-wrenching pain that seeped into his bones. Clang! A light flashed between his brows, and the clear sound of a sword rang out. A cold sword light accompanied by an ancient aura swept out. Qin Hao held the treasured sword in his hand with trembling hands, and his eyes could not help but shine with a hint of crystal. I'm sorry. Qin Hao's voice trembled. If you want to kill us, then kill us. If you want to use us to threaten our boss, dream on. You beast, you even captured so many people from our Wuji star. Just you wait, our boss. Jing Tiangang, stop talking. Isn't it just death? Huyan Albua stopped Jing Tiangang and said indifferently. He also believed that if they died, their boss would definitely seek justice for them. However, there was no need to say it out loud. Because the current boss was still a lot weaker than these people. Brother Albua, it's okay. They don't dare to kill us. If they wanted to do it, they would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? They don't dare to do anything to us. Daluo Jinxian, ha. My brother is only a celestial immortal, but these scum can only use such a method to threaten him. Ha ha ha. Not to mention my brother, even if I, Chen Nan, don't die, I will still kill all of you. Chen Nan said. Right at this moment, Chen Yen, who was beside Chen Nan and had an extremely weak aura, suddenly said in a daze, Little Nan. I saw Big Brother, Xiao Yen, don't give up. Why won't you listen to us? I said, they wouldn't dare to kill us. Big Brother once told us not to give up until the very last moment. How can you give up? I haven't seen Big Brother for a long time. I really want to see Big Brother again, but I don't want. I don't want them to use me to threaten Big Brother. I'm sorry. Chen Yen said weakly. Since the beginning, she hadn't resisted the torment of her soul and body. She just let her life force slip away. Xiao Yen, how can you be so stupid? What you're doing is meaningless. Do you think they'll let us die? Sister. Chen Hao closed his eyes and said with a trembling voice, Brother is here, fuck off. You dare to touch my sister, I. Ah. Ah. Chen Nan looked at the person in front of him, who was holding a sword that was obviously beyond their understanding. As he walked step by step towards Chen Yen, he struggled and roared crazily. He wanted to say something threatening, but nothing could threaten the other party. His futile struggle only caused his collarbone to bleed again. What do you want to do? Come at me. Xiao Mei used all her strength to shout at Chen Hao. In the Xiao family, she had watched Chen Yen grow up. Because of the feelings hidden in the depths of her heart, she was closer to Chen Yen than her own sister. Voila! Suddenly, a dense light flashed around Chen Hao's body. Immediately, Bai Xiaobin disappeared and was replaced by Chen Hao's real body. Ah! Cries of surprise rose and fell one after another. Huyan Albua, Meng Xiao, the first king, Jing Tiangang, Beili Liancheng, Gao Dezhuang, Bai Xiaomei, Zhang Rongrong, Tan Hui, Gu Xing, Lin Hao, Jiang Hai, Huang Wenxiu, and the other prideful elders of the Wuji star, Moue, Dongfang Jun, Yang Fan, Li Yifeng, Ni Jianping, and the other brothers who had followed Chen Hao in the beginning, Xiao Mei, Lil Ling, But Face, Xiao Jishan, Xiao Jifei, and the other people who were the closest to Chen Hao in the secular world. There was also Xiao Ji Yen, who had been estranged from him. Even Dongfang Ting, Xia Lanlan, Duan Yufei, Xia Yuyu's brother, Xia Nantian, and the others who were still on the eastern continent of the limitless planet. All of them widened their eyes in surprise and fell silent. Qi! Qi! The incomparably sharp sword light carried an extremely condensed power, and in an instant, there were dozens of swords. Puff 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 puff. The chains that bound everyone were cut like tofu without any suspense. Qi! 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 At the same time, a majestic and terrifying aquamarine energy suddenly flowed out from between Chen Hao's eyebrows and turned into beams of light that enveloped everyone's bodies. Endless vitality and pure energy made everyone horrified to find that the chains that had been torturing their souls and bodies were healing at a terrifying speed. Brother! Wah! Woo, woo, woo. When Chen Hao gently hugged Chen Yen's delicate body, Chen Yen, who thought he was dreaming, felt the familiar breath and the warm embrace. Only then did he come back to his senses. With a wah sound, he cried out loudly and used all his strength to hug Chen Hao tightly. Just like when he was a child, his legs hung around Chen Hao's waist and tightly wrapped around it. Brother! Chen Nan's angular, determined, and handsome face was tearing up at this moment. He had grown up and had always regarded his brother as his goal. In the cruel world of cultivation, he had experienced countless battles and shed blood but not tears, even in the face of death. But now, when he saw his brother, he suddenly realized that he was still so fragile in front of his brother. He really wanted to throw himself into his brother's arms and hang on his brother's body like his younger sister. Big brother, is it really you? Second brother, is this our big brother? Am I dreaming? Ah. Fuck. Jing Tiangang, you fucking bit me. It's not a dream. Jing Tiangang said. Xiangxi. The mischievous Ling Er had now grown into a delicate and beautiful girl. Her bright and beautiful eyes were sparkling with tears, making her look like an elf. Brother Tianxi. But Face wiped away his uncontrollable tears as he stood side by side with Ling Er and called out honestly. Xiaoshi. Xiao Mei, who had been mature for a long time, was now in a mess. But her gentle eyes were shining with excitement, and the feelings hidden in the depths of her heart, which she did not dare to express, were so hot. However, before she could finish calling out, little junior brother, she suddenly stopped. Big brother. The first king's tall and straight body was still like a mountain. His golden hair was trembling. Gao Dazhuang, Bai Xiaomei, Zhang Rongrong, Tan Hui, Bailey Liancheng, Lin Hao, Gu Xing, and the others were indescribably excited. Big brother. Yang Fan, Li Yifeng, and Ni Jianpei's eyes were shining. Big brother. Even in an unconscious state, Mo Yue was shining with a fierce and vigorous sword will. Dongfang Jun pulled his aunt Dongfang Ting with a face full of excitement. Chen Hao. Xia Nantian, Xia Lanlan, and Duan Yufei shouted excitedly. Xiao Jian's eyes were also filled with tears, and her heart was bitter. Once, because of Dongfang Han, there was a barrier between her and Chen Hao, no matter how much Chen Hao cared about her. So, all this time, she tried her best not to think about it, and to not get close to it. But this time, she was still considered one of Chen Hao's closest people and was captured. But now, seeing Chen Hao again, she still did not know what to do, and did not know how to face him. I'm sorry, I've implicated all of you. Chen Hao's gaze slowly swept across the crowd, and said in a low voice. Big brother, what are you saying? You shouldn't have come. It doesn't matter if we die, at least boss can avenge us. Now, this palace is a seal condensed by the Grand Mist Sovereign. Huyen Aobo regained his senses after his agitation. His expression was both moved and resentful as he spoke. Yes, big brother, we can die with you. Although I'm proud, but, who will avenge us? Jing Tiangang said. Big brother, you shouldn't have come.